Yo.
Yes, sir. What's up, guys?
Yes. This DJ will kick the floor in three, two, 1.
On the troll.
Hello, guys. I know that most of you have been dying, but we have to make sure that we prepare for any disturbance. So, I had a problem of right now. I had a problem of internet pushing enough for me to go live. So I wanted to make sure that we are all good. I'm hoping that
buffering.
I'm hoping that it will minimize it because, hey, these things are difficult. But welcome to Mzansi. We are here now. You guys have been waiting for us. We are here. Thank you for being patient.
Thank you.
And waiting for us to actually start. But that's what technology does. Even the likes of SABC would have problems. And as we have seen, the sound and everything, and you go to those comments, people are literally complaining about whatever that they are getting there. And those are the things that I face also.
Yeah, and you face them alone.
Yes. I have to deal with those things alone, Emil, all the time. Checking if they are fine, everything is fine. Is it going to buffer? Is it not going to buffer? Doing all the means, the sound, is it fine? Is it coming through the picture? Is it fine? Is it coming through? So yes, guys, I know that we have said the story before, but that is what you must consider. But if we promise you that we are going to be live that day, we are definitely coming live unless there is something, unless of course there's something that breaks my line, then I would have a problem. I won't be able to come through. Even if my backup is also not functioning properly, then I would definitely not come through. But yeah, we are here, guys. Emily, it has been a long journey of Tumelo, and it's not done. And I would like to believe it's not done. I think we're halfway when it comes to Tumelo.
Yeah.
But there are things that we have actually seen and we've noted.
Yeah.
And Emily, greet our people. And I apologize for yesterday, guys. When nature calls, I'll call it nature because, at the end of the day, I'm a student and I still need to go to work. You cannot juggle 3 or 2 things in one day.
Yeah.
So one had to die, but we are compensating for that. I apologize. It is my fault.
Okay, how was it though? Did you submit? Was everything fine?
It is not yet submitted. We will finish. We will see tomorrow what happens. But we have drafted and we have everything that we need. So in terms of finishing, I will go to my house and finish everything. But hello to Spa Masugu, and forget about my studies. It's my problems. I will deal with them however I want to deal with them. I don't know. As long as I get that pass, that my daughter score.
Oh my God. Hi guys, welcome back to the Mzansi Reality YouTube channel. Here we review the Senzo Meyiwa Trial. Thank you so much for your patience, guys. We really appreciate it, and all the support and the likes. We appreciate everything, guys, that you do, showing up and engaging with us with regards to the case. Now, Tumelo is arrogant. Tumelo is full of himself. Tumelo is just irritating the heck out of me. But it is what it is. Maybe he was... he's thinking this strategy of his is gonna work. I don't know, but sometimes it seems like it's working, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know how you guys feel about Tumelo's testimony, but to me the attitude stinks. While cross-examination was underway and Defense Counsel Sipho Ramosepele opened his cross-examination of Tumelo Madlala by asking whether there were any items that were stolen from the house. Madlala considered that he was not completely sober when the 2 intruders entered the house, but that he was not drunk either. Now, he said he didn't finish the 3rd can. It's amazing how this cap happens at the 3rd can. But Madlala said the only thing that he remembers is that he wanted, the person who intruded wanted cell phones and money, and he was using isiZulu. Now, Ramosepele asked what was his demeanor, and Madlala was like, the situation I was in, I was not going to be watching like I'm watching a movie, relaxing, because he felt anxious inside and he got scared. So he says, I wouldn't have looked them in the eye for a long time.
We would like to believe that.
Contradiction.
In their eye.
He wouldn't look them in
It
the
sounds like something that would have happened. You don't look at someone who's got
who has a weapon.
a weapon. Contrary to what we have gotten used to. I mean, that tells you the fact that you can look at them in their eyes. You can also not fight them, not unless balahlile.
Ramosepele asked, did you see the firearm? And Madlala said, yes, he had seen it. He held it in his right hand. Ramosepele asked, was it pointed at the people in the house or was he holding it down? Madlala said he was holding it like this. Not that he was pointing at one person. He could only see the whole of the gun. So who was this gun pointed at, or what is happening here? And then the fact that we can't even see them and their body languages and them testifying, we were not able to see where he was pointing when he was saying he was holding it like this. You know, and the only time, guys, you can see the whole of the firearm is if it's pointed directly at you. Is that not the case?
No.
It's not.
I beg to differ. You have all the angles. You can see it sideways as
the
he
whole,
is
because
claiming.
Utumbobo, he keeps emphasizing that he only saw the whole.
Yeah, it's when it is pointed at your direction, not at you, because someone can point a gun on two parallel people, but pointing at one, obviously, and the other one will be able to see that. That argument still stands. You can still see the gun if it is pointed
Because
and you are in a position.
I'm looking at the lens of the camera and it's directly facing me. And I can say that I see the lens of the camera. I can see the hole or the circles.
Does that mean that Mr. Anonymous would not be able to see it if you are sitting closer to you?
But why is Tumelo saying that he saw the hole? That's where I'm stunned at.
Oh,
That's
the hole,
where
you can see the hole.
Even when you're at the side and you're standing sideways.
Depending on where you are, how accurate angle, maybe it's that angle where you can see the hole, but not the whole pipe, but you can still see the hole. Depending on where you are, that argument can still stand. Now, I'm not gonna differ to say you cannot, but let's say yes, he saw the hole while he was sideways.
Then Ramosepele asked, now you are saying it wasn't pointed at a specific person. Did he move it around just to show his dominance around the people in the house? Or was it just in a fixed position, not pointing at any person? And Madlala said the happening of the incident didn't take a long time. You wouldn't check who was doing what because you had anxiousness inside.
Yes.
But I removed my eyes. I was trying to take out my phone from my pocket. Now, he didn't answer the question.
They always do. If it gets heavy, you don't answer. You run away. You find a way of moving around and answering something else.
Which is why this whole situation to me bothers me. And this is what Ramosepele was trying to get at. And he just decided to talk about how anxious he was feeling. And his eyes were all over the place. But they saw the hole of the gun.
He's seeking for help. He's crying for help. If you continue pursuing that line of questioning, you are bound to get objected. I don't know what this judge keeps on quoting. Whatever you say, in a sense, is whatever that person says. What they give is what they give. That's it.
Ramosepele then asked, did the gunman cock his firearm? And Madlala said no. He just came in and pointed it at us. Ramosepele then asked, which part of the firearm did you see? Then Madlala said, the front part with the hole, the front side of the barrel or the gun. Now, what color was it? Then Madlala said it was dark and it looked old and rusty.
Darkish.
He said it was darkish. They still don't know what to do with the situation of the gun.
Yes.
So I don't know, Mr. Anonymous, how you feel, because now I'm like, I'm over these lies.
I'm also, I'm confused, as they are confused, and I'm not a good person when it comes to these things. But my own thinking is that
What is your own thinking?
they have a defense. They have a defense, and I mean, Baloyi is gonna stand up and object whenever it's needed. You can question more. That's what I felt. I mean, there's always someone who's gonna say something. If it's not a judge, and I know that the judge is said to be a good judge, and I
shouldn't
don't
be
have
too harsh
anything
on
on yeah.
We should leave him alone.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to do. But at the same time, this situation, it's making me feeling very frustrated.
It is frustrating. It is frustrating. But what worries me the most is that these guys are saying they were never called for to come and ID these accused. Accused number one, more so accused number 1 and 2. What was the point of calling these accused people to come, bringing this so-called parade? What was the point in the first place? If the police eventually they come and just arrest the person, and no one sees these people, no one comes and ID these people, it just worries me, because what is different about these two guys? What is exactly changing? What is it that the first threat guy didn't have? Or is it a gun? Because even that gun, I mean, from what I'm hearing and what they are testifying is that that gun, it's a 9mm gun compared to a revolver. So, I mean, at the end of the day, they still don't have, according to me, solid evidence to say that these guys are the ones. Oh, they can take it for test and they come back and say that it is what it is. It has been tested and all that. But you are talking about the revolver versus 9mm.
Yes,
I mean,
those are two
Ramosepele,
different.
in the very same question, he's saying that you said this thing had a wheel. You're saying that there was a wheel and a wheel, that is a revolver. Unless there's a 9mm that is different than a new one, maybe that came in 2014, and perhaps it never existed after that. It just disturbs me and worries me that we still haven't seen these people. All of them, they come and claim that there was no, these people, they were not ID'd. And what also worried me was the comment of a judge on 375.
Did you hear that?
That worries me. That really bothered me as to why are you bringing it here? You are sitting on 363. Why are you bringing the what we call the other case
other docket.
that you're not presiding over? Why do you keep on bringing it? It's like you're saying, okay, fine, you can say whatever in this case, it doesn't matter. Not that, by the way, the one that is saying you must be arrested, you'll be arrested for it. You know, it's okay. So say whatever and say it freely. And you tell me that is a mistake, or you tell me that is a judge playing smart.
It sounded like a subliminal message for him to say that that docket is not
commissioned.
Yeah.
The question is, what is it doing there? That statement. What is that statement doing there? Why is it there in any case? If it's not commissioned, why did they put it there? Why is it there? To color the dockets, or even make them more dense, like, okay, we are working or something. Why is it there? That's a question that should be answered by Baloyi also.
Because Advocate Mshololo used it the last
Yes,
time.
there were
Novo.
questions. There were questions on that one. All of a sudden now we're being corrected. Obvious, I know that de novo, it means that we start afresh. But it just worries me. Why is that statement there if we cannot use it? Why is it on 363? Why do they keep it there? And now Ramosepele prepares, and then he comes back and it is not commissioned.
And now he's looking there with Tumelo laughing and making a joke out of the situation.
And he even goes further to say, I would like to see. That tells you he either knows the person who wrote that statement or something that we don't know that he knows. You know? I mean, I would like to hear what that person who wrote that statement was thinking. I would like to be told about that statement, what was happening, who's in charge of what. That is not a mistake. That is not a mistake. That is really something that, it bothers me. It bothers me because that is someone saying that, okay, I know what is happening about this whole case. I don't care. I would not care. I don't know what you think, Emil, but those are things. We're still going to touch on these things. But I was worried.
I'm worried
because
also.
He's too confident and cocky when it comes to these things. And it's not a mistake, man. It's not a mistake.
Then Ramosepele asked, using your hands, can you tell the length of that firearm? And Madlala estimated with his hands that it was about 20 centimeters. Well,
Okay.
at least he's not the only witness from inside the house so far who is unwilling to testify about the actual firearm. I feel like maybe we are going somewhere with him actually being a little bit more specific about the details of this firearm. You understand? Because
Yeah.
everybody didn't see it, but they know that it was there. They saw it, but they didn't see it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Ramosepele said, can you explain if it had a wheel? And Madlala said, I didn't look at it much, but I think it did have a wheel. I didn't look at it for a long time. You think it had a wheel. Then Ramosepele then asked, had you ever seen the person that was holding the firearm before? And Madlala said, no. And Ramosepele asked, have you ever seen that person ever again after that? And he said, no, I have never seen him again. Yeah. You know what I have as a question here, guys?
Yeah.
Why is Tumelo not pointing the one with the dreadlocks on the dock with confidence as much as he's pointing at accused number 2?
Untanzi seemingly is the weakest. I don't know.
Like, there's something, man. Let me speculate, guys. Let me speculate. Bongani Ntanzi has no previous convictions, right? This is probably, one would say, allegedly is his first time in the prison. He had a stable job there by the Rustenburg in the mines.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
The other ones are convicted for previous criminal activities.
Right.
And the 2 of them so far, I know that they have taken lives. Allegedly.
Allegedly, yes.
So, why not point at a person who's done the crime, the actual crime of ending a life, and go to
No,
Bongani?
because the story is about the people that got in the house.
I hear the getting in the house.
So how are you gonna
But
point?
the ones with the dreadlock, why is no one willing to point at him?
Because they would say, well, we didn't see them. They didn't get in the house, basically. I don't know. There's a lot of things that are not right about this case.
I'm bothered by the pointing of Bongani as if he's not going to be able to do anything.
You see that, yes. What makes this case even difficult, when you look, not even difficult, it looks like, I don't know, to me, it looks manufactured. This is my own opinion. You know, it does have that element of this case. You are talking about the dread guy, and yet you cannot put that dread guy inside the house.
Kombanai.
We have dwell on the dreads, and we might. I see many people are saying the defense doesn't seem to know what they're doing. My worry is maybe they're doing great, because as much as they are bringing these dreads guys, they can bring him 120 times, even 250 times. I don't care. But what is important is that what that guy who had threats, according to the intruder story, did was to have a gun inside the house.
Yes.
So the threat guy that now we are seeing, that is accused number 3, right?
Yes.
We have been dealing with threats of accused number 3. Accused number 3 is not described as someone who was in that house. They have been trying to change the complexion. It is in between big eyes and all those things.
High cheekbone.
But to me, it hasn't actually created the story or even linked the story properly, because still, you don't even need to defend that much. You just need to stand up and say, but you can describe this guy as much as you would like to. You have said this person went inside. Right? And you have pointed accused number 1 and number 2 as people that went inside. So where is the third guy coming from?
But why are they having the boldness and the lever to point at the one who was tall with the hoodie on, with the trim beard? They are only working with the trim beard.
Let's say the story
and
was...
the hoodie.
Let us put an assumption.
And they have so much confidence to point
Let us
at
put an assumption. Let us
Right.
put an assumption.
All right.
Look at how these people are arrested. It's not like they were taken all at once. Boom.
No.
You understand?
No.
It was in different stages.
Yes.
Do you agree?
Yes.
So, let's say the story was manufactured. This is my assumption. If it was manufactured, it would have been built on accused number 1 and number 2 that were dealt with properly according to what we are hearing from the stand.
Yes.
They are saying they had to eventually confess because they feared for their life that it might eventually be taken.
Terminated,
Do you understand? That's basically what they are saying. So the story then, if it was made, if, that is a big if, it started there. Do you understand? So all the statements and whatnot that came after that were dealing with whatever that was there.
MC Menzisto narrated how with accused number 1, the family told him that they were actually looking for the pictures of him in dreadlocks and they didn't find them. So
basically, if then there were no dreadlocks of number 1, number 2 doesn't have,
number 3 has
number 3 had, but
And
even
he also
though he
had
had
the
them,
bench.
that's why Mnisi said, yeah, indeed, he had them. Indeed, he had threats. But eventually, considering that indeed he had threats, I saw the judge writing down. My question is, whatever that you wrote there, that guy is still not positioned in the house. That guy is not put there in that house as part of the intruders.
bengamkhombi? Mina ngifuna le confidence le
How are they gonna point at him?
Ngifuna bemnikeze yona.
No,
naye.
how are they going to point at him if he didn't come, if he was never in the house? How are they going to point at him and say, yeah, this is the one?
And who accused number 2?
Accused number
positioned
3.
in the house
Yes,
because
accused
of the
number
hoodie and the trimmed beard.
Number 1 also, right?
Number 2.
Number 1 and is it number 2 and
And number 2 is positioned in the house. It's by Amcom.
okay, number 1.
I don't know. With number
So
1. what's happening.
so now what we can take from this story is that it's slowly shifting to accommodate number 3 and number 2, leaving number 1 out, right?
That's what we are seeing. Yes.
That's what is currently unfolding.
Yes.
They are trying, but the problem is that they said dark and dark. They were both dark. The other one was dark. The other one was more darker and taller. Do you understand? And the only
Now they are changing. They're more dark or light. Light or dark. Like in between.
do you see now the problem is they cannot now, you cannot just flip like that and say
in the middle.
yeah.
Cappuccino.
So you have to keep on accommodating that part and slowly introducing the light skin. But the problem is that whatever that you went to actually to that kit that you were throwing, it never mentioned light skin. Never mentioned light skin. So how do you denounce now that all of a sudden and say, yeah? That's why initially the theory that Tumelo was coming with of saying it was in the house, it was a bit dark and it was accommodating for such things. But now they come de novo, they say there was clear light, there was everything, you know. So now, that being said, they are saying they could see the skin tone and everything.
Yes, they saw everything, even
So-
the face now.
That changes everything now.
So Ramosepele then asked, when did you see the second suspect on that night? And Madlala said, when the first one arrived asking for cell phones and money. This young man, Utilomfana lo, meaning Longwetwala, stood up, pushed him as he ran out of the house. Then everyone stood up. Kelly then ran into the bedroom, and it was at that time that he noticed the second one.
Okay.
So Ramosepele asked, the second one, when you first saw him, what were they doing? And Madlala was like, I think he was trying to enter the bedroom. Then Senzo chased him to the kitchen door. Ramosepele asked, Zandi says the second intruder.
Oh, Emil. Just I'm getting some bit of who in between these two, accused number 1 and number 2, sort of according to the theory that we're given, confess.
The first one.
The first one.
Baqale ngaye uMusi. Khalelwa Sibi. That's the one they started with. Remember, they said
The
they
younger
arrested
one.
him. Yes,
Yeah.
they arrested him. At the time, he was chilling at a spaza shop, and then the police were there looking at him. He's the first one who actually got arrested, and then they said allegedly he pointed them to the direction of Bongani, and then from Bongani they are saying or alleging that Bongani pointed number 3.
Now you see why they had to stick with Bongani. Because
Why?
there is a bit of word of mouth of what they say. They sort of confess.
No, but they are denying it. Accused 1 and 2 are denying. They're saying that they were actually beaten up.
No, but
that to
that's the
happen.
thing. That will not count. You see, what you should notice about this case is that
They
these
were made
ones,
to sign,
these,
and their statements were even dripping in blood. I want to see those statements.
you might find them clean because who writes the
they'll clean them
statements?
up.
Who write the statements? I mean, you see, what the flop of South Africa is that we still write in papers. Now, today, I can write something and date it in 2014.
Maybe now we should insist when statements are taken, we write with our own hands.
Not even write with our own hands because these people, they don't give you that chance. Who would give you that chance?
I'm gonna insist.
Who would
After
give you
what
that
I'm seeing
chance?
happening in court, my hand will write the statement.
Who would give you? We need to record these things.
Yeah, with body
It's more than
cam
words. Not even put a camera here and do the
recording,
right thing.
voice recording, do the
Yes.
right thing. Because wow, the things that we are seeing in the court, the things we are having to
You see,
deal with.
if this thing was in a record, we could see the body language of these people. We could see them
Yes, if they were beaten up, ngampela.
Now it's their words against the so-called police way, or whoever commissioned their statement.
It's so sad.
And that person, whoever is responsible for it, pick and choose. They pick and choose. No, don't put that statement. That statement is incriminating, or I don't know. I'm thinking. This is my own thinking. You know, the statement of Klope, it needed to
I'm bothered by
for
that.
some weird reason not be commissioned.
Commissioned.
So now
How did that happen?
are you saying that Klope wrote down and then took that thing and shoved it on case
In the
3
docket.
the
That's
docket?
what they're
How
making
can
it seem
how
like.
can you even insinuate such a thing?
So what happened to the commissioning process? You are literally saying that like they are saying it was done by a junior. So you are literally saying it was done in an amateurish way.
If it was done by a junior, Emil, if it was indeed done by a junior, how come do we have statements that are lingering on 636 but are from 375 today? And the judge can sit there and say, it is not commissioned. There are statements that were commissioned today, and they are using them.
This one
And if you're
just
gonna come with-
happened to
with-
not
with-
be
with-
commissioned.
Yes, if you're
While
going to
it
come with monkey
actually
tricks.
has a strong link to make sense of what happened,
Hey,
but it's not commissioned.
hey.
Sure. Madlala said, I think he was trying to enter the bedroom. Then Senzo chased him to the kitchen door. Then Ramosepele asked, Zandi says the second intruder ran after Kelly. Did you see that? And Madlala said, yes. Ramosepele asked, I'm confused. You say he was wrestling with Senzo. Then Madlala said, there was a time Senzo was wrestling with the first one. And then I saw this one appearing following Kelly to the bedroom. This doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm reading sense here. It doesn't make sense. The second one was coming. I don't know how he appeared, but Senzo was holding his hand. He doesn't know how he appeared. He doesn't know how the second one appeared. Okay, but he knows that Senzo was holding his hand, and when he pushed him to the wall. Then he says, I tried to run towards them. Then Senzo pushed him towards the wall. That's where he says he also hit him. Remember Tom sharing his bagel, tried to punch him. Then here also I felt the complaint that people have about Mr. Interpreter over there. Definitely he did not translate this confusion right. He made it sound like what Tumelo was saying made sense when it didn't make sense. What was coming out of Tumelo's mouth were contradictions and confusion, and I needed him to translate it directly as it was said and not try to say what he thought Tumelo was trying to say, but to say exactly what he said. I felt the frustration with the translator here because I was like, what are you translating? This is not what Tumelo said. Okay?
Now, the problem is that if you're going to deal with a case like this, where you are dealing with mostly one language, and when time comes where you need someone who's multilingual, you can always bring such people. Because why I'm saying this, from the two people that are interpreting, you can tell that they are not native Zulu speakers.
Yes.
You know, they cannot understand some of the things. You know, and you can fault them, but that's how far their Zulu can take them.
Because I'm like, Lento Utumelo is talking, he wishy. It's a complete mess. And the way you translated it, you made it make sense. And I have a problem with that.
You look at the situation of Ngizwe's case. Ngizwe, we have someone who can comprehend, and on purpose, Ngizwe uses proper deep Zulu there, on purpose, so that they even laugh about these things. You know, they even laugh about this because, as an interpreter, you can tell that this person is doing this thing on purpose.
Yes. So my question is, when Senzo was busy with the first intruder, then what was everyone else doing? What was everyone else doing in the house?
So Senzo, in this testimony of Tumelo, is portrayed as this hero who took two people who one had a weapon clear such as a gun, and then the other one had a weapon that is not as clear as we would like it to be.
But
Senzo took both those people.
Ntogo said it's a knife. So Senzo was busy with these two people with dangerous weapons, all on his own, and everyone else was just
and
there.
if we take that theory of a knife, Emil, if we take it, so does it mean now the person that they were all fighting is the one that had a gun? Because that's what the theory of Tumelo is saying. They fought the person that had a gun, all of them.
And Senzo was busy with the one with the knife.
Yes.
And then somehow he left.
Somehow, these ones who were busy with the one who had a gun, they let go of that person, and then he faces Senzo now, and then it just doesn't make sense. Not unless we are told that they both had guns.
Now, Ramosepele asked, Senzo initially struggled with the first suspect, and Madlala said yes, but he was not alone there. He was with Zandi and Zandi's mom, Lalela Gemanchi. Now he was with Zandi and Zandi's mom, with the first suspect.
Here we go. That's a problem. That is a problem.
But Zandi also said she never had an altercation with the first suspect in her testimony. Okay. Who were they beating with the crutches? What did Zandi say? Zandi said they were beating the second suspect with the crutches. Okay? And Tumelo was there. And then Tumelo took the crutches from her and started beating the person with the... Imagine Tumelo has just flipped this whole thing. Yeah. So Tumelo said that's when he handled this one. I don't know whether he was coming to him or something, but he held him, the second suspect. Ramosepele asked, you say the second suspect had something in his hand? And Madlala said yes. Ramosepele asked, did you see what it was? And Madlala said, no, I didn't. But I saw how Senzo was holding him in his right hand. Okay, because the way Senzo was holding, he was holding him with his two hands. So Senzo is said to have been holding with both of his hands the arm of the second suspect, the one who had something in his hand. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's try to follow. So Ramosepele then asked, did you see the second intruder in possession of any weapon? And Madlala said, like I said, I was not going to put my eyes on everything that was happening in the house.
No, it surprises me, man. This is just
I wasn't
a mess.
relaxing. It happened so fast.
This is a mess. You could see the position in which this person was holding the hand, trying to hold, like, basically...
You are describing someone trying to disarm somebody of a knife.
Or of a gun.
Yes. You are trying to describe that. You're describing someone who's trying to disarm somebody of a weapon, which is what happens if you've grabbed the hand with the weapon. You'll want to grab it and have the person let go of the weapon, right? That's your description. But you didn't see the weapon. You didn't see it fall. You didn't see him ultimately winning and the person letting the firearm go. You saw nothing, but you saw Senzo with two hands, okay, doing that.
Yeah.
To the second suspect.
Yeah. So for those who saying that they cannot hear us, I think it's on their side. Please fix your stuff, your gadgets, guys. It's not us. We are audible. Refresh something.
The screen, refresh the live,
Yeah.
or go out and then come back in and see if you can still not hear us, please.
Yes.
Please
And
make
to
sure.
do that, please like the video, guys, for those who are here. Please like the video, and for those who can hear.
So I am trying to picture there's a whole wishy-wishy in the kitchen. And I'm not seeing it. It's confusing. It's very confusing to me. Though Ramosepele said, Mthokozisi said he saw a knife. Did you see a knife? And Madlala said, no, I didn't see a knife. If that's what Mthokozisi is saying, that's his statement. I just wanted to get out of the house, but I didn't see a knife.
So basically, Tumelo, if he had a chance, even more chance, he would actually say, I saw a gun. That's my thinking.
Ramosepele asked, did the second suspect utter any words when he entered the house? And Madlala said, no, there isn't any words that he uttered. During the incident, did the first and second suspect communicate amongst each other? And Madlala said, I did not see that. Imagine abantu bengena and
you know,
they're
Emil,
not talking to each other.
You know, Emil, I'm in agreement with what Tobeka D is saying. In my thinking, I would have loved the defense to take time. Sometimes even ask gibberish questions. Like Ramosepele, finish the whole day, man. The whole day. Nisi. You don't need to focus on the meat. You know, sometimes looking at this kind of people who come to testify, this is someone who can get fatigued and they get frustrated when they're fatigued, according to what I'm saying. So you need to take as much time as you can if you are facing such a person testifying.
I feel that's what Munisi's approach was about, and actually we got juicy. We got things that we were not expecting there.
The thing is, there are two advocates there are two people there who can actually direct time. Mshololo can do that, and then Ramosepele can do that. Atene Ramosepele can do that. The two, which is Nisi and Ngumalo, they are not good openers. They want someone who's already tired. In football, we would say they are more of substitute. You use them to kill the game. So
to close,
yeah.
especially Tumelo. Tumelo needing to just close.
So I'm not happy that Tumelo tomorrow is gonna start, and in the morning, it probably will be done by 11.
Yeah, he's fast.
That's him, because he's asking things that are just clear. Like you
Just
need
to the point.
Yeah, you need
He's
to drag
extremely fast.
and do the round cycle thinking. Just go around the cycle.
Advocate Mshololo can do that. Definitely can exhaust a person.
Manje, the problem, the order is that Tumelo comes in first and then Mshololo.
I wish it was Ramosepele, Mshololo, and then Mnisi, and then Tumelo.
Yes.
I wish that was the order.
Yes.
I see what you're saying. I see it. Ramosepele then said, were you in a position to see whether those dreadlocks were braided or not? And Madlala said they were showing here. He was indicating yet again, we could not see that because he was wearing a hat I did not see at the back. They appeared here. So Ramosepele then asked, which identifying features did you notice of the second suspect? And Madlala said, the second suspect, I think I have said it before in the beginning, that sometimes if you can't draw the person, but a person you have seen before, you know them.
Yes.
He said, if you can't draw a person, now this raises the suspicions with the sketches, honey. With the drafting of the sketches with Colonel Steenkamp.
Yeah.
How come those sketches are so not looking like the person you're confidently pointing out in court? Because
as she explained, that some of them, they look disinterested. That's what we gathered on that documentary.
Steenkamp.
So thank you, Isaiah, for your donation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Isaiah. Thank you. You're highly appreciated. So yes. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, you are so sure, and you are saying even if you can't contribute to a drawing.
So you're gonna hold your drawing
when you see the person. So you just decided not to contribute to the drawing.
Yes.
And hold it until you can see the person again in some time
and
in
then
the court.
and the right time point them.
This was immediately after the incident. They did the identity sketches on the 29th of October. Now, this is like 3 days after the incident, right? And that sketch looks nothing like Bongani Ntanzi, in my opinion. But they are insisting, they're even pointing at him, that it's him. But this is a team, So he said,
what I saw, there's a picture that you sent to me.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I don't know if I could, I didn't get time to transfer it. But what I see, Bongani Ntanzi's beard is what we call in isiZulu.
I will put it on the community tab,
is what we call in isiZulu iqundu. What happens is you would find that here there's grass, and then on the other side there's no grass. Unlike, for example, my beard, where that is fully growing. So there are people like that who had. I also have a bit of a space under the shin, and that's what is happening. There are places where it doesn't grow
at all,
and then there are places where it grows. So you cannot do a round or whatever beard the style that you want to do there. No, because you don't have it in you to actually connect to the other side. So it breaks somewhere before it reaches the upper part.
So Ramosepele then asked Mr. Madlala, I'm not going to fight with you. I'm a very fair lawyer. If you don't understand the question, then ask me to repeat it and answer the question directly, please. And Madlala was like, Vele, we are not here to fight. So the part of fighting I don't understand. But you're fighting, Gina, aggressive and all of that. Like, why did you bring the attitude to the court? And I'm even surprised that the judge is not reprimanding that nonsense behavior.
No. Just forget about it. The only thing that is clear here is that what we see, what is seen in that court and what is happening in that court, forget about it. What are other people seeing? What are we seeing? Whatever decision that they would reach eventually, we would have seen a lot of things.
Maybe they should also try to introduce breathalyzers before people stand on the witness stand. Just a suggestion. To test alcohol levels in the system, or if, in fact, go through the entire tests, including substance tests, because I think at this point they are needed. That's my opinion. Ramosepele then repeated the question to him. And then Madlala said, the first thing is, as I walked into this courtroom, I saw this person and I knew I had seen him before. And I asked myself, where have I seen this person before? I also remembered him by how he had trimmed his beard, and further that he was tall. Ramosepele then said, let's talk about the beard on the lower lip. How thick was that beard? And Madlala said, that part of the beard usually doesn't grow, it's not big. Ramosepele said, accused number 2 instructs me that he has never had a beard there, pointing below the lip.
Uswayini. NgesiZulu they call it uswayini. Le njebe kuthiwa uswayini. Kuthi lensizwa doesn't have that njebe that is called uswayini.
So, and in fact, he does not have an O-shaped beard, and that he
couldn't.
Always kept the goatee that you are now seeing in court. Okay, there's a picture, guys. I'm gonna share it on the community tab, or maybe we will briefly cover it in the next video. I don't know. I'll see how I squeeze it in. But we need to analyze that beard, because Ramosepele was onto something here. Okay.
Yeah, there are things that you cannot. That guy cannot have that style of an O shape, and as I'm saying, because it breaks somewhere, you know.
Yes,
it breaks. Yes, so you cannot have an O shape style.
No, we'll need to.
How can it be an O shape if it doesn't have that O shape? So for it to be an O shape, it needs the full grown beard all over.
And this thing here, the one here, it's not there. He doesn't grow hair here.
Uswayini. Akana uswayini.
Akanawo. Awukho.
So I don't know what.
Kuyomele sichazele uTumelo ukuthi manje who did he see, because it's not there, and it's not like he shaves it. It doesn't grow there. So I'll show you guys the pictures. So Madlala said, I don't know what he means by that. It means I am sick in the head. With what he is saying, I don't know where he takes it from. Of course, he will deny the case. As for you, Mr. Ramosepele, you are representing him here. So he has to deny it. And then he laughed. Accused number 2 had his hand up asking for consultation from his legal counsel, and then Mr. Ramosepele approached the bench to speak to him. And then when he came back, he said, my lord, the accused says the witness can approach him to see that he's never had that beard. And the judge asked, he's inviting the witness to go to him. And Madlala said, I will never get closer to him. He's an enemy to me.
You said he's not afraid of him. But this is the time where I would jokingly say, but you said you're not afraid of him. I don't think there's a harm, my lord.
There is something that these brothers of mine, is now he's including all of them. These brothers of mine need to understand, okay? And they need to know I don't care about them, and I'm not scared of them. The way they keep looking at me like there's something they're going to do, I don't care.
I fear those people. Okay.
Me too.
From accused 1, from accused 2, 3, 4. I would not play that.
3 and 5. I fear.
In terms of
the story.
I just the fact that I don't know the story. I don't, but it's in jail, right?
Yes.
So I would not get close to that person.
I wouldn't want to upset those ones. Tumelo, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's okay. We're not here to...
Then, so we were supposed to show the picture, but you guys, we will analyze it at a later stage now. We couldn't load it into the system. Yeah, we were in a hurry to bring you this live. Then Ramosepele said, no, it's fine. What he was saying is that as much as you are adamant that he had his beard, he's also adamant that he has never had it, and that's the point. Madlala said he can say what he will, but he will have to prove it. But I'm saying it was there, and I know it is there. Tata Tumelo. Then Ramosepele then said, I put it to you that the description by which you identified accused number 2 is vague and general, and it means all sorts of thousands and thousands of men out here. Madlala said, yes, I'm not in court for anyone else. I'm here for the one I saw. In fact, I put it to you, saying Ramosepele, that the description of a beard below the lower lip and an old type beard around the mouth and a hoodie wouldn't assist the police in locating the perpetrator. And I agree with this. What about the eyes, Tumelo? What about the cheeks? What did you contribute to that sketch is what I'm interested in finding out from Steenkamp. What was your contribution to that sketch? When I know Zandi, since you're so bold at pointing people on the dock, what were your contributions to the sketch? You know? And then Madlala said, but I'm here. I'm the one who saw him in the house. I'm the one who is seeing him.
If you ask me, that's what we are seeing based on when I look at the judge, because now and then they zoom in the judge.
He doesn't look interested much.
No. You've just repeated what someone was saying here. And I didn't want to say it, but you are saying it.
He doesn't look like very interested. He just wants this case to move. It's like he already has a verdict. He's just pumped.
Yes.
He already is waiting for that time to be like.
That's why I was worried when people
that I came here with.
That's why I was worried when people said the judge wants a certain way of asking questions. I'm worried. I'm still worried.
I'm still worried. When he talked about the docket,
if you look at how many things you can say about not saying what was inside the house or what happened in the house, it's almost 2 sentences or 3 or 4 or 5, and then you are done. And then he comes back and gives you a straight answer, and that answer will probably be these people are going to jail. So what else do you have except what happened in the house?
Nothing. Ramosepele said, but you were there observing. And Madlala said, yes, there were things I observed. But bear in mind, I was not sitting there watching everything as it was nice. I was also thinking of running away. Ramosepele asked, your crutches were used, and you remember Zandi Khumalo hitting the second suspect with it. And Madlala said, no, she was assaulting the one with dreadlocks. Ramosepele asked, Zandi testified that she went and fetched the crutches next to the heater and that she came into the kitchen to hit the second suspect with the crutch. And Madlala said, that's her statement. They stood up first before me, her mom, Kelly Khumalo. And Ramosepele asked, she also said that because she was short, she couldn't hit the second suspect, and you grabbed the crutch and he hit the second suspect. And Madlala said, I hear you, but I don't remember hitting this person with the crutch. I hit him with a punch, but I cannot change her statement. Madlala asked if the 2 alleged intruders fought back during the scuffle. Says perhaps when they fired the shot that led to everyone running, that was their way of retaliating. And Ramosepele then said, when you went into the bedroom after the shot was fired and you had your cell phone, why didn't you call for help? And Madlala was like, I don't know how I was in the position to ask for help. It was my first time in that house. The only people I knew were those people who were in the house. Ramosepele said, maybe by calling 10111. And Madlala said, I have never dialed that number. And the thing about, he even mentioned it, toll-free 10111. You know? And Madlala said, I have never dialed that number.
When that means he had a medical aid then. He's got medical aid, eh? Because he had an injury on a knee. How did he get to hospital, or he took a taxi?
Asazi.
Because if you are using crutches,
The injury must have been serious.
It must have been severe. That means you couldn't walk and balance on your own. So what? They took you there?
You just found yourself in a hospital and you didn't
I would like to
how you
know.
got
Which
there.
I see that you were injured. What happened? Tell me, where were you? So how do you have medical aid? Did you go to a private hospital?
I'm even worried. I'm worried for those who are close to him. You don't know 10-111.
And you've got baby, you've got a child.
Sure.
So at some point your woman was pregnant.
What, yeah.
So
You see, when you are in a situation, it's a different story. When you've never been in a situation, it's easy to say, why didn't you do that? But when you are in the situation, you experience it differently. Hi, Tumelo. Hi, you had your phone with you. Please call me to somebody. Like anything. You had your phone with you. You were locked in there. You were hiding. You were feeling scared. And you had your phone with you. Okay. No call back to somebody who's close to you. Never mind you didn't have airtime. But in that situation, you are trying, you are panicking, you're trying to call somebody.
what I see is that a question of being helped by someone to call is not comfortable to Tumelo. I wish we can get those records. Not
Those
this thing
phone
of maps,
of
giving up, not giving
Towers and
us maps.
stuff. We don't care
That
about
thing
that.
is
We want the
useless.
actual conversations.
That thing is useless.
They are useless.
You know, you can bring an expert with 100 years of experience, but that thing is useless. We want the content of conversation. And by the way, it would have been better if we had Ntabi's phone also there.
Yes, that phone also needs to be subpoenaed and looked at the phone calls with the network companies. Not this nonsense that they brought to us. That doesn't have anything. It's nothing. Ramosepele then also, Zandile says, as the intruders holding a gun demanded cell phones and money, she hid her phone under a cushion. And Madlala said, I can't speak on her behalf. Mind you, I'm also inside the house and I cannot be monitoring every movement. Then Ramosepele asked, Makumalo is charging her phone in the kitchen, but intruders don't take it. Madlala then said, I wish you could ask me about things I wrote in my statement. As to what other people said, they can come and answer for themselves. Isn't that interesting that Makumalo, I even forget about the fact that Makumalo's phone was charging in the kitchen. Ramosepele then asked, Longwe had money and a cell phone and yet he ran out. And Madlala said, who says that one had money? The shade.
It's jokes that are important to him.
Who says that one has money? The shade of it all. The shadiness towards Longwe. Ramosepele then said, and yet these people do not search people in the house. And Madlala said, to search people, you need to have a way of lying them down so that you can do that. But all of us were never instructed to do that. Then there was a short adjournment. After that, Ramosepele asked, you didn't give the police the description of the facial features of the second suspect. Madlala said, yes. Exactly my point.
So why do you come here and give us this description?
Comba. What's that about 9 years later? It doesn't make sense.
When it suits them, the memory
Comes back.
When it doesn't,
It goes.
it deteriorates. It does not. I don't know, man. I don't know. When it suits them, if it happened to you, you wouldn't forget it. When it doesn't, I could have. It's been a while. I could have forgotten that. Inconsistencies.
Oh my God. Madlala then said, yes, that is true. Ramosepele asked also, I put it to you that you experienced this under very disadvantageous circumstances. The circumstances you were under, the second suspect was wearing a hoodie, the presence of the firearm wielded by the first suspect, and that the events were moving in a fast pace. And Madlala said, yes, that is so. Ramosepele and said, and a scuffle unfolded. Madlala said yes. And that you were not 100% sober. Madlala said, yes, that's correct. And that you were dealing with suspects who were strangers to you. That's correct. And Madlala said that he has never identified accused number 2 in any ID parade because he has never attended an ID parade where accused 2 was present. Ramosepele then said, and you have also never attended an ID parade where accused number 1 was present. And Madlala said yes. Ramosepele is referring to a statement Madlala made with Colonel Gininda in 2019, where Madlala is quoted as saying that he was not sure that he'd be able to recognize the suspect. Madlala said, I have never said that I would never be able to identify them. I just said I'm not sure if I would be able to because a long time had passed. You are always not sure, and yet you are sure, Mr. Tumelo Madlala. You are sure that accused number 2 was one of the intruders in that house. But yet everything else you're not sure. Then Ramosepele said, are you one of the people who Ntabiseng lent the phone? And Madlala said, I did receive the phone from someone who I did not know. My cell phone did not have airtime. And Ramosepele asked, do you remember calling Noktula Hazel Shlope? Madlala said, I don't remember calling Noktula. The person I remember calling was Fiso. And then I was in a relationship. The lady I was in a relationship with. Now it's interesting with Fiso because Fiso,
He's saying he was
in a relationship with, or the lady
was
in a relationship with.
Hey,
So the interesting thing about Fiso is that he actually talked about that phone call in the documentary. What
and yet
Dubuleka
it's
usenza.
debunked.
Usenzo what Dubuleka.
When it comes to that, they debunk it. But yes, they did make calls to these people. But yeah, what they're saying is not true. It's like the situation of the Ngashe boy. The Ngashe boy eventually is recognized because he saw the white T-shirts and
He's
all
only
that.
recognized when
But
he
it's
can
debunked
support.
when it comes to what he did, running after these people and not seeing anyone, and looking at the time between the time that Ntogo jumped while the second intruder was still inside. I know many people are saying these people could have disappeared, but the second intruder was still inside the house. So when he jumped back from there, following up, at least you should be seeing something. No car that took these people to leave the scene. You guys are saying there was no car, nothing that came. So basically, these people, they ran on foot up until to a certain point, maybe if there was a car that took them.
Well, Tumelo was asked about Mlungisi Edward Shlope. And Madlala said, yes, I know him, even though I was not sure the first time around because we know him by a different name. Then Ramosepele sought out a quote from a statement by Mlungisi Edward Shlope, and the state objected. It says it doesn't show who commissioned it. Now the judge also supported this and is like, okay, this statement is not commissioned. And Madlala insisted that he wanted to know what is contained in that statement. And the judge is like, in the eyes of the law, it's not a statement. It's inadmissible. And Madlala said that's why it was not commissioned, because what it contained there is not true. Where was this statement after Senzo Meyiwa's passing? Where was it all this year until 2019? Who was in charge of the case in 2019? Where was it before 2017, 2018, 2019? Who was in charge of the case in 2019? I want to know. Madlala insisted that there's no truth to the asserting that there were no intruders when Senzo Meyiwa was killed, raising his voice and addressing the court. Now,
And
this scene was very cringy.
Yeah, he's not even recognizing the court. Even after that reprimand, it still continues. But that's what the court brought to themselves. Because, I mean, if you allow these things, then they look good to people who are standing there.
Now, a lot of you guys might be wondering what was in that statement that has Tumelo so aggravated, or had Tumelo so aggravated. Now, a quote from it said Zandi was fighting with her boyfriend and Senzo Meyiwa was trying to separate the two. That's a quotation. Advocate Mishololo read the most part of the
That statement.
And it says that Senzo got shot, or it alleges that Senzo got shot while he was trying to separate a fight between Zandi and Longwe. So that's why Tumelo is so aggravated by that statement. According to him, he did not call Mlungisi Hlope and say that over the phone, which is why we need that phone call.
Exactly. Because, it's easy to actually solve this case.
It's
Get
easy.
that one call.
Go to the network.
That one call.
Get
Even if you
Mlungisi Hlope's number, or it's Tumelo's number that he was, or the phone. Type Sing's phone. I suspect.
Even if you don't look for Tabi or anyone, just get one who was called during that time, and then listen to that. You don't need 120.
What has been so difficult? You've had 9 years to do this. What has been so hard?
Oh well, let us like the video, share the video, subscribe. Guys, please subscribe and the likes.
So now, as far as we are all concerned, the theory that Zandi and Longwe were fighting and Senzo was trying to separate them, and that's how he ended up getting shot at, has been thrown out of the court simply because the statement was not commissioned. For now, it's still not introduced, or it's not there, it's non-existent.
So this junior basically was doing something. Whoever this junior was doing something. And it worries me that this man is saying that why the statement is at 2019. Well, you have a statement that you did with Gininda 5 November 2020.
Yes.
Why are you not worried about
that? Why does the one on 2019
Why
bother
is
you
the
so
2019
much?
one is worrying you so much?
And I don't know whether you guys noticed, or did you notice to see how when Ramosepele was struggling to get the statement and Tumelo was laughing. He was laughing. It was actually audible in the microphone. He was laughing. And I was like, what is this joke? Why are you so happy and excited? You sound so excited and happy. Why?
Like he's excited that whatever that is putting through is going through. I don't know. Like something like that is his position. He feels that it's going through.
That really troubled my spirit. And I felt that he was extremely cocky. And honestly, he just gave himself away, in my opinion. He gave himself away to the court of public opinion, because now the court of public opinion wants to know more about this docket of 375. It looks like there's something there that just aggravates everybody. It makes everybody who was in the house angry.
Everyone, not even those who were inside the house. Anyone, I don't know. Like, people talk about it before it is even there before them. They start commenting on side. This is a docket that really is worrying a lot of people.
Well, then the judge did eventually reprimand Mr. Madlala, and he said, Mr. Madlala, there's no need to argue with the counsel, just answer the questions. And Madlala was like, I apologize, it's just that I'm tired of the story that there's no intruders. I'm tired. Those are lies. Then Ramosepele asked, were you there when Senzo was loaded into the X6? And Madlala said yes. Ramosepele asked, is it true that all of you, Makumalo, Zandim, Togozisi, failed to call an ambulance when you loaded Senzo Meyiwa into the car? And Madlala said, we tried putting Senzo into the car. So I don't understand when it is suggested that there were no attempts to assist Senzo. No, the first thing would have been to call an ambulance at Tumelo, because when someone has just been shot, you can't just move them around like a pillow and take them wherever you want to take them. You actually are increasing the risks of them not making it So under such circumstances, the best thing you can do is call an ambulance. But if an ambulance cannot arrive, that's when you load them into the car. After you've tried calling the ambulance and you can see that the ambulance is not coming.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
We don't just take people like Isagala Mazambani while they're injured and hurt and put them into the car just because we feel like we can.
No.
It doesn't work like that.
No.
In fact, you all should have some kind of a charge for doing that. I don't understand why it's not there. Because our coding, it's wrong. You can't just move a person who's been injured from the scene like that is if you know what you're doing. When you don't, you're not a paramedic. You've not been trained to handle such emergency situations. So you can't say that. And when you are in that situation, you are in a different state of mind. That's what Tumelo said. Of course, you were crying. You were crying a lot. Ramosepele then asked, what was the real reason you came to visit Senzo? And Madlala said, we were going to Roy Mahomed's party. And Ramosepele asked, were you also here to facilitate lobola negotiations between Kelly Khumalo and Senzo Meyiwa?
Look at that. These people can... Literally, we can call that a lie, right? Because the man who said to have come, these people can just lie and for nothing. I mean, what was the point of lying about Lobola? What was the point? What were you looking to achieve? Is there any strategic move? That's a lie.
So if you can lie about that, what more have you lied about? If you can lie about such a minor thing, then how more of the lies have you told?
And I did ask Uguti, where were the Senzo's family? We see their cousins, there's everyone here, Fiso is there. Why would you send Tumelo?
She did it on a bold television interview.
You know, people just go to TV and just for fun of it, just for fun of it. And we need to look, and then you tell me that we need to go and look at Mondays for whatever reason. How do you do that if you can just go on TV and just lie unprovoked?
With a straight face, unprovoked. In fact, Slindelo didn't do much in that interview. She gave you the platform and you just lied. You just lied, girl. You told a bold-faced lie. Okay? And then Madlala said, there is no such. I have never conducted lobola negotiations before. Senzo would have told me. Then Madlala says Kelly would visit Senzo Meyiwa's elder sister in Phoenix and she'd be there for about 7 days at a time. He says he cannot say if Senzo was conscious or not, but all he knows is that he was heavy when they loaded him into the car. Now, who is that snake? Who is that? Who is that who would accommodate Kelly Khumalo while she was having an affair with a married Senzo Meyiwa and they were allegedly Senzo Meyiwa's sister?
No, but let us be honest here. Let us not put emotions aside. I cannot fault that sister. I cannot. When I grew up with my sisters and my cousins, I don't know how many times they've covered for me. Now today we can come here and say that a person.
Look at what happened.
Yeah, it did happen.
Look at what happened.
It could have happened to me. Hence, I'm not going to discuss. I'm not going to discuss the issues of relationship and pretend as if I'm holier than thou.
Well, this one is bothering me because now what has transpired, and now we are finding out that actually Kelly Khumalo would spend days, several days.
It was before that happened. Let us correct that, and it was clearly explained.
So it means he's familiar.
Yes.
With that side.
Yes.
That's what it means.
Yes. And who's this? Mandisa had a mother who was supporting her. And obvious, sisters will be sisters. They're your blood and blood
But are you
brothers.
happy now, sister?
I mean, we cannot fault people for that. There are a lot of things that people would do for their brothers.
I'm judging.
So you can judge on that. That's a relationship.
For accused number 3, cross-examined the witness. he had started by focusing on the suspect's description of the intruders. Nisi said, I am saying that the description regarding that dreadlocks is the same as Mtogozi Sitwala and that which will be given by Makumalo. Gladness Kumalo will come and tell this court that I'm taking this from one of her statements which said, and I quote, the first one that was carrying a firearm had short dreadlocks and had a hat, short dreadlocks that hung up to his neck. Madlala then said, yes, I hear you. I was talking about my statement. I don't know about others. I've never read their statements. Then Nisi probed about Madlala's description of the gun wielded by one of the intruders. Nisi said, now let's be frank and honest with this court. Was it a revolver? And Madlala said, I don't know what a revolver looks like. Nisi asked, I know, Mr. Madlala, that is a cut and dry answer, but really now, don't you know what a revolver is? You have not seen a revolver. And Madlala was like, perhaps you can tell me in isiZulu. It's English that you're speaking.
Where's Tumelo coming from? Guamashu. Hey, there's a song such as that
That's
which was
the
singing.
song.
Yes,
And they're
it's
even
an
doing-
old song.
Very old.
It's a very old song.
I think from the 90s. Then Nisi asked in Zulu, it's called Ivolovolo, not Ukwasha. Ivolovolo. Madlala said, I've heard of Ivolovolo. Nisi then asked, really, you don't know what a revolver looks like? And Madlala said, I don't know what kind of a gun a revolver is. He doesn't know. So now this one is a distinctive feature of it. It looked like it had a wheel. And Madlala said, I already said me looking at it looked like that from the front.
Yeah. What there we can take is that he still maintains that it is a revolver. Any question further, it should be left for arguments.
Nisi said you gave a description of the second intruder. Not sure if were he or she, but if it was a he or she, but you described him in terms of the height, beard around his mouth and just below the lip. And Madlala said, but I pointed him out. Why would you say you don't know it's a he or a she? You were present when I pointed them out. That doesn't count. Then Nisi said, I'm talking about the suspect when it was transpiring at the scene, not what is transpiring here in court. And Madlala said, okay, so those are the features through which you are saying you were able to identify him. And Madlala said, yes, besides the features, I see him and I explained that before. And Nisi said, I can see the trimming around your beard. Would that trimming be one you are having around you? And Madlala said, yes, I liked Nisi's approach.
It was ruffle the feathers and distract the process. How I explain it, you create chaos, your own chaos, to get what you want.
And he did it with a smile and sensitivity, and he noticed that this witness is very, very aggro. I have to find a way to make him relax, and I think it worked to an extent. And then he said, would you agree with me that the trimming is not a permanent feature? The little bit on the lower lip is also not a permanent feature. Is that not so? And Madlala said, yes, that's true, advocate. Nisi said, now let's assume if those descriptive features were taken away, would you still be in a position to identify him? And Madlala said, even if he were to shave his head into a bald head, I would still be able to point him out. Now, this incident happened in 2014. Is that not so? And Tumelo said, yes. When for the first time after 2014 did you see the person who you think could have been the person you saw on the 26th of October 2014 being the second intruder. And Madlala said the first time he saw the intruder was the incident that happened in court. It was here in court, is what he said. And he didn't remember the exact date he made his appearance in the court. Now, on the basis of what you have just said, would you agree with me that the lapse of time, memory fades away? And Madlala was like, I've explained that at the beginning. I don't agree because other things you forget, other things you don't forget. Mr. Madlala, don't be defensive. It's not a natural thing that with the lapse of time, memory fades away. Madlala said, yes, there are certain things you forget. I agree with that. But this incident, I don't forget. Mnisi asked if he testified for the first time in court after the incident. Was it in 2023? And Advocate Mnisi asked the state to assist with the date. And the judge asked, what does it change? Because the witness says that they can't remember the date, but what he can remember is the factual fact that the first time he came to testify in court, that's when he saw the second intruder.
That becomes the factual fact.
Oh, judge,
And you tell me that we should not judge. They are saying, what is a factual fact?
I don't know. But I have a problem with him not telling Baloyi to look for the date. I don't know. I just feel like you want them to put to the witness what they have said properly, right? That's what you've been emphasizing all along, that they should. So must Mnisi now not state the date? You're saying that the date doesn't make a difference. But how is he going to get to the end of the point that he's trying to make without asking for that date? Because Mnisi was not there. Mnisi only came on this case like after, right? He wasn't there in those proceedings when Tumelo was testifying. In fact, he was the one calling for Tumelo to be recalled as a witness.
Oh, yes, we are noticing that. You're right. Bongi was saying that, have you guys also noticed that since the judge asked about the funeral, Baloyi now has prepared Tumelo to narrate his story right up to the funeral day, providing he attended. Also, it does feel like that. It's alleged, obviously, but all of a sudden there's an inclusion of that. It's like
the funeral. What happened on the day of the funeral with Tumelo, which was not included before the novel.
You know how South African copycats.
Yeah, South Africans have the culture of.
We have the culture of copying each other. We do copy each other.
It's entrenched within our DNA, son.
So we align.
Originality is not our thing.
We hear that the question is asked, we align up until the end.
We include it. We include it, Dagabao. We include it.
It's alleged, though. Please subscribe and like the video, guys.
I mean, that's true. Like, there were never funeral discussions with the witnesses. Like, what happened on the day of the funeral? Did you go to the funeral? How did you get to the funeral? And all of a sudden, it took a good 30 minutes to unravel of how he attended Senzo Meyiwa's memorial service and funeral. Thank you, Bongiwe, for that. I didn't notice. Well, the judge said you must tell him the date because he can't remember. And Advocate Baloyi said it was September 2022. Mnisi asked, would you also agree with me that it is a natural phenomena that a person loses certain traits in terms of their identification and character over time? And Tumelo said, I would not agree or disagree with that. Mnisi then asked, as a person is growing or as the years go by, it is a natural phenomena that how they looked 10 years ago would not be exactly the same as how they look 10 years later. I don't know how to put it. And then Advocate Baloyi stood to object and said, I don't know whether such a general statement is correct to put to the witness to comment. I think it would be best left for argument. But if counsel can indicate the basis of his argument, One thing I've noticed is do not be shaken by Advocate Baloy's objections, honey.
Yeah, as long as you know
When
how
he's
to.
active like that, it means you are going somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as you know how to.
Overrule or get them overruled.
Because you see, the problem is that most of it, when the judge. See, what I've seen is Ramosepele is not ready to actually handle those objections.
Yeah.
He's not ready.
Yeah.
He just doesn't want to argue.
He doesn't want to
leaves
argue.
it. And more so,
Yeah.
it's if the judge is the one coming with such, he just says, okay, it's fine.
He's afraid
Let's
of
continue.
being thrown off. He's afraid of being thrown off.
Which you can argue it's a good thing on the other side because he keeps to the script,
Yeah.
to what he prepared.
Yeah. Yeah. But I
Because
feel like
such things can throw you
But I
off.
feel like he should also add the skill of navigating through. Because sometimes Ramosepele gets the juice, but he doesn't know how to follow through with it. I feel like it's something he has to work on. Pause, take a pen and leave a mark where you stopped and listen to the answer. Listen to the answer because the answer will make you have more questions and they will come in your brain.
No, he's writing now. He's busy writing.
Okay, so Mnisi then said there's nothing wrong with the question. What I'm trying to get from this witness is that it's not a natural thing that when a person is growing, they change with time. Is that not a natural thing?
And more so if they were around 20s, 20-something, 21 or so.
The last time I checked, Bongani was like 28 or 29.
Uh-huh.
Maybe he's turning 30 this year or 31. I'm not sure, guys. But if you look back at 9 years ago, he was 20, 21, 22. So you are telling us that
That
I
young
still
kid.
look the same.
That young kid.
I don't look the same way I looked when I was 20. I definitely don't.
That young kid was able to hold you all there, and you got hold of that young kid, and you failed to disarm that kid. Because we must be clear now. That at that time we are talking about a very young kid.
They failed to disarm him and call the police. Bell the police.
Yeah.
So Madlala said, I agree, but accused 2 is still very young. There wouldn't be a substantial difference in 10 years. You see, you can also see that he's very young. So can you imagine in 2014 how young he actually was? That time he didn't have much weight, but it doesn't change his face.
So an older man threw a punch to a young kid, and the kid stood while he was fighting with Senzo. He couldn't even move. So it was like a fly just sat on this kid's cheek. And then from there,
He
an
became
older man
paralyzed.
ran away.
He just stood there. became paralyzed.
Okay.
I covered Stomani. Stomani was young also. The people that he did the crimes to have tales to tell. When you are younger, you are scared, your heart is racing, faster paced, a lot more damage would have been done, in my opinion. In my opinion. You are scared, you like young criminal activity or criminal activities done by young people tend to be more reckless and have more dire consequences. I don't know if you guys are catching me or what I'm trying to say.
Catching you, we hear you. What
Like
you're saying.
they have more consequences that are just sad and stupid in them. The consequences there are severe. So for him to just walk away knowing that he's caught and he's disarmed or whatever was happening that Tumelo is trying to paint for us, I don't know. I'm not buying this story, in my opinion.
It doesn't make
To
sense.
me, it doesn't make sense, the story. Then Nisi asked about his injury on the toe.
And that young man, by the way, had a full-grown beard. It's true. That young man.
That young man had a full-grown beard.
Mm-hmm.
Nisi asked about his injury on the toe. Then Tumelo said he used to use crutches. He had a plaster of Paris or a plaster caster. Now Nisi noticed something here. When he talked about the plaster of Paris or the plaster caster, Tumelo was laughing and he said, I see you laughing. I think you have heard it somewhere. Hinting to the fact that perhaps Tumelo watches the court proceedings.
Yeah, well, if he does, who would see? It's not like they put him in the hole where there's no TV or whatsoever. He could be watching even now.
Tumelo described his caster that it was on the rest of the foot to support his big toe so that every time he walks or has movements, it is not disturbed. So Mnisi revisited the scene at the house. Tumelo said he never used crutches. He only used his fists and it didn't cross his mind to use his crutches. Tumelo demonstrated where the second intruder was standing next to him and Senzo, as Senzo was fighting the second intruder. And then he says he was facing inside with his back against the door. They were looking at each other face to face. The second intruder and Senzo were looking at each other face to face while the back of the second intruder was facing the door. So Tumelo says he was standing next to Senzo as all of that was happening with this altercation with the one with the dreadlocks. They were somewhere in the kitchen because the kitchen is small. Now he pointed to the bottom of the picture. So that in itself, well, you know when Nisi, I know people were complaining. People were complaining that Nisi looks like he's not prepared or whatever. But the description here is dodgy. The description here now changes. What happened to the first intruder now? He's talking about the second intruder. And people didn't notice that. Then Nisi asked, the intruder with the dreadlocks was behind you as you fought with the second intruder in the kitchen. And Madlala said, yes, that is so. You see what is happening now? And then Nisi said, and you wouldn't be able to say what was happening behind you. And Tumelo said, yes, I wouldn't be able to because they were just behind me. Okay, and this second intruder had a sharp object or a knife or whatever, but he had something, and he was behind you. Hey, Batum. Tumelo said he has known Senzo for a long time. They even went to primary school together, and they knew Mtogo after. And he asked to estimate how many years, and he said maybe more than 20 years ago. So the court heard testimony from two people who were in the house that day, Mtogo and Zandi. Now Mnisi says both of them told the court that the wrangle in the kitchen was between Senzo and the person who had dreadlocks. And Madlala said, yes, I hear that. Would you still say that the tussle was between Senzo and the second intruder? Then Madlala said, yes, I could agree with them that there was a tussle with the first suspect because he was the first one to enter. Nisi then asked, they say the wrangle was between Senzo and the first person who had the firearm up until the first shot went off. And Madlala said, I will explain that. If a person was to stand next to the door that goes into the dining, you would not be able to jump to the second one who is not visible. You wouldn't jump to the second person that you can't see. He was supposed to start with the first one. How it ended up that he held the second one, that they pushed each other to the door, I don't know how it happened. When the firearm went off with Senzo at the door. Allegedly, these are lies. That's my opinion. But Mnisi asked, having known Senzo for more than 20 years, is it correct to say that you wouldn't have mistaken him for someone in the house? And Madlala said, I wouldn't have. If Senzo was embroiled in a tussle, you would have been able to identify that Senzo was in a tussle with this particular intruder. Is that not so? And Tumelo said very clearly, Nisi wanted Tumelo to repeat the tussle in the kitchen as to how it happened again. And Tumelo didn't want to. He became aggressive again and he says, go straight to the point. You are confusing me. Whatever I was saying, I was not saying it to you. So advocate, just say it straight to me. Then we will talk based on that. Nisi said, I usually hear people saying there's no rush in South Africa. Rush is in Russia where they rush, and it was a joke and everybody just started bursting into laughter. And then Baloyi got up to object and said, let's focus on the issue at hand. And the judge says the witness is correct. Put it to him that this is what he said, so you're telling me that our marvelous judge did not hear these contradictions that were happening when Tumelo was... That's why Mnisi was confused. Guys, did you hear what I just covered now? Did you hear it? It's a mess. Tumelo couldn't at some point differentiate whether they were talking about the first or the second intruder. The kitchen, what was happening in the kitchen, it was behind the door. And behind the door, now we move from his hand being put up as if they were trying to disarm him or whatever, in my opinion. But he spoke about the first intruder altercation with Senzo when he was testifying under Ramosepele. And now with Mnisi's changing to the second intruder with the dreadlocks, his back was behind the door facing Senzo. They were facing each other face to face. So you're telling me that our wonderful, respectable, honorable judge did not pick that up? That's my question. Because now he was insisting that Mnisi put it to the witness. Mnisi was honestly confused, and so was I. Okay? So was I. Now I must be frank about the fact that it does bother me also that the judge is not really looking like he's interested, especially in the details of the house. How is this defense guy supposed to prove their case? Because that's all they're left with. That's all they have to work with. They have nothing else so far, right? So, yeah, what he said when he was cross-examined by Rapuleti, for instance. Now, I also have a problem with our honorable judge. It's Ramosepele. It's not Rapuleti or anything else. And I'm actually surprised that you don't want to pronounce his surname correctly, considering that your surname is Mokgwatleng. It wasn't easy for most of us to pronounce Mokgwatleng, you know? So I'm kind of disappointed at that shade.
Mokgwatleng.
Mokgwatleng is not an easy surname to pronounce. He should be, if not Sotho, then Tswana.
Mokgwatleng.
Ramosepele is either Sesotho or Setswana also.
Ramosepele.
Sepela. No, I think it's Pedi.
It's Pedi. Oh, Mokgwatleng.
Mokgwatleng is Tswana.
Oh, okay.
Mokgwatleng. I'm seeing at the spelling. It's TLHE. It's Setswana.
Hey. Did you notice how angry and annoyed Tumelo became when he hears Longwe's name? Yeah, definitely.
Yes, we picked it up. He does.
It sort of aligns with that thing of, hey, ilo uyamfana, that Sfiso was alluding to. Yeah, by the way, guys, I just have to rub it in a bit while you press your like button before I say what I'm about to say. Emily.
Yes.
Today is what, Women's Day?
Yes.
Happy Women's Day. And to everyone who's here. And yazin, Women's Day, normally our shower mantombazane, Emily, and they are not even supposed to be showered, mantombazane. So what is happening is that, why I'm saying this is that Kaizer Chiefs is losing to Sundowns. And it's 1-0 for those who are here and wanted score.
But it's mantombazane, Kaizer Chiefs.
Yes, so...
I mean,
it's nice to support Orlando Pirates because
What is your comeback? I'm waiting. You can't let this one slide.
So guys, we have to laugh, man. I'm sorry, but I have to bring Kaiser Chiefs here just so that you just relax a bit about what you just said. I'm hoping Kaiser Chiefs will come back. Come on. But guys, now the lines are open for those who would like to call. You can call.
Okay, we can open the lines now. But yeah, cross-examination of Advocate Mnisi was quite long. But yeah, guys, I think I have to stop here because, wow, it's a lot.
Was it that long, Emily?
It was long. It was long and slow at the same time, but I feel like he got the juice. So when Tumelo started getting confused like that, I was happy. I was so happy. Okay, I was very happy.
Continue.
You said from the dining room to the kitchen, Senzo was in a tussle with the person with the firearm, and Madlala said yes. Him first getting up, he was one with the firearm, and he was not alone. He was with Kelly and Zandi. So yeah, he's now saying that Kelly and Zandi were helping Senzo push the intruder with the firearm to the kitchen. At the commencement of the tussle, you were not a participant, you were sitting down. And Madlala said, not exactly that I was sitting down, but the person appeared as I was sitting down. After everyone stood up, I also stood up. You got involved in the fight after everyone got into the fight. And Tumelo said yes. Nisi kept repeating the scene that Tumelo described. And Tumelo said he will not be able to describe how everything happened as he has described it before. He says he has his own reasons because when you find yourself in that situation, it's easy for someone to say, how did that happen? Another thing, how can I show you? Have you seen a lane that goes? When someone starts now including lanes, and the fact that when an accident has happened, the car is facing in the opposite direction and you don't know how it happened. I was like, yes, Mdisi, yes.
It's coming with theories now.
I was like, yes, you are winning. Keep going. That approach is working.
He's going to explain how the car changes.
I was so happy when this was happening, and he said that they happen fast and simply at the time you must understand. And Mnisi said, I want to assure you that does happen in human nature. It does happen. And Tumelo said, thank you very much.
He wanted to explain using the road.
Then Mnisi said, you probably read my mind, because then I would ask you, how did Senzo let go of the first intruder and went to the second intruder? Then Tumelo said, maybe we think alike because we are thin. And then he laughs. Ha ha ha. Mnisi
I like
said,
that. He played a lot of reverse psychology there. Like he moved from the word go in agreeing with what was said by Togo. And saying, yeah, in fact, you are aligning with what Ntogo said. And in fact, you are aligning with everyone that was in that house, which is actually giving this person even that boasting power or confidence. I'm saying what is right and I'm correct. And then after that, you move. And then they start talking about the roads and whatnot. Road accident fund. And
then Mnisi said, you know the gist of what we got from the testimony of Zandile and Thokozisi Twala is that from the dining room where you were seated up until the kitchen where he was shot, a shot was heard and Senzo had been entangled with the firearm person. Then along to the kitchen, they also pushed the second one. Then Tumelo said, it is what you think. Is it what you think or what you're putting to me? Mnisi said, I'm telling you that the court has heard from Zandi and Thokozisi. And Madlala said, that's not true. As I've already said, when the firearm went off, I was with Senzo at the door. It's just that in court, you can't say what you think. So what I'm saying is when the gunshot went off.
Zanzi, hello.
Hi, Mr. Anonymous. And Emily, how are you doing?
Hi.
Yes. I'll try to be very quick. I am a gloomy person, and I happened to stay in KZN for a period of 6 years in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So my frustration goes out to this interpreter of ours.
Yeah.
He is really not doing justice to us. There is something that I heard. I had to, I was watching from the SABC News YouTube video.
Yes.
I sent you the link on WhatsApp. If Mr. Anonymous can listen, he will come back and comment about it. At 7:50, between 7:50 to 8 minutes of that video,
Okay.
Tumelo was describing about the firearm there.
Yes.
As Mr. Ramosepele was asking him, he mentioned something that is very important, but our interpreter missed it. Uthi uTumelo, sasingasikhulu kakhulu, sasingasindi. How do you know if the gun was not heavy? But they missed it, and the interpreter didn't interpret that thing. Between 7:50 minutes and 8 minutes of that link I've sent you, Tumelo said what I've told you. And then the other thing, Tumelo, I think not yesterday, the previous day, the previous proceeding, he gave a description of the towel and the towel that they used to press on the wound. Yes. And the interpreter didn't mention that. He said it was a blue towel, which was a face towel. Now tell me, a face towel can close a wound of a gun that is bleeding, really?
I think Mr. Interpreter says what he thinks. I'm not sure if he's listening. I'm not sure. That's why today I had to say something.
He is not. Look at the other thing Tumelo said. Ramosepele said, Longotwala, who possibly had a gun, who possibly had a phone or cash on him, is also allowed to leave the house without being searched for sale. The interpreter Mayibuya is yena okunye futhi nangu ulongo unemali kuyena uyakhonakala futhi une cellphone bayamvumela aphume. What is that? Uthi uTumelo uChristian wayeyaluza in the house. U-interpreter makabuya uthi yena Christian didn't know what he was. Uthi Christian did what? I'll tell you just now. I don't know what Christian was doing there. But ushilo nje ukuthi wayeyaluza, he was moving around. So I have a problem. My problem is that why don't you just interpret directly with the mistake? Let the people correct themselves.
Yes.
Because the other thing that he does, he even asks questions that Ramosepele or any other advocate has never asked. He would be asking questions himself of ubani loy, abesasilo ulongo kanti bekathena he. And he's supposed to just interpret that way is not doing us any good. And then the other thing is, sorry for taking long. I have been a victim of an armed robbery twice in my life. The first time it was a car hijacking. They told us, instructed us very clearly, get out of the car, lie down. We opened the doors, we got out, we lied down. They said cell phone. We started taking our cell phones. Those who were not taking them out, the people were assisting us by searching and taking everything that was in our pockets, and they left. The second time, they want cell phones. I'm telling you, they collected all our cell phones we gave them. So this family is a very special one. These people are very bold.
Yeah.
They fight people with a gun. We were, for both incidences, there's a male, there's female, there's many people that I encountered. We all got scared and surrendered and give them what they wanted. But anyway, that's what I wanted to say. My frustration mostly was about this interpreter.
Yeah.
And that he missed that point that says, something is cool, sasingasindi. How do you know? Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much. It
Yeah.
wasn't big and it wasn't heavy.
Oh, Sam.
Now you see, guys, why
Guys,
I prefer.
before you are allowed to call, those who are going to call. Emily, are you done with your script?
No, I just think we should let the calls go through. I will pick the highlights if there's a break in between, like currently, like right now.
Yeah,
But I wanna
continue.
hear from you guys. I want to hear from you guys what you guys think. And right now, you're bringing up more points about the interpreter. And yes, I have a problem with the interpreter. He's making my work very difficult. Okay, he is. So Mnisi asked, we are together then, but on the other hand, two people who were in the same house who witnessed the same incident have come to tell the court that as you and when the shot went off, Senzo was entangled with the firearm guy. So you are saying they were wrong, and Tumelo said, I'm confused. I wouldn't like to get into what other people have said, but because you are now putting it to me, if they say Senzo was busy with the suspect, with the gunman, who
And
were
we
they
answer
busy
this.
with?
Mzanzelo?
Hello.
Hi, how are
Hi.
you?
Ngiyavakala.
Yes.
Yes, nikhuluma noPhumeza.
Okay.
Hi, Pumeza.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you ukuthi ngiyenze nge-holiday. At least I'm not at work, so I was waiting. Ngiyabonga, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful. Emily. Yes, Emily.
Yes.
Go on holiday. Yeah, and
Yes.
Mr. Anonymous. Yeah.
Yes.
So I've got two questions and some issues and some concerns here. Eyokuqala, bathi umthoko, when he had the first shot, he was going out and then he met Senzo coming like ungathi ungena endlini after the first shot. So was Senzo already shot or he was going to the house to fight again? So I'm also confused there.
There.
Yeah, ukuthi wayephuma umthoko after the first shot, however the second shot next to the tap, uSenzo yena was coming. Then bathi, why did you leave your friend in quick danger? So angayazi ukuthi uSenzo wayesiyaphi after the shot, or he was already stopped. Yeah, trying to hide himself somewhere there under the couches. And also umthoko uthi uTumelo uthi umthoko doesn't like conflict. So yena he was standing with Christian there, holding Christian while they were fighting. Kwi-robbery kune-conflict or kuyaliwa nje wonke umuntu uzama indlela. When you are watching and uphethe umntana kaJudu lapha because you don't like conflict. Hayi, into leyo. The other thing, without wasting time, but uthi when he got back umthoko, uSenzo was alone, but there was umama kaKelly. And then he jumped back with Ukaya. But Ukaya, when he went back there was no one. But maybe Ukaya didn't see me because I was busy with the spoon opening the doors of one of the rooms.
Yes.
So manje kodwa uthi bajumpe boyi-2. So yabona nje lezo zinto. Aphinde kwamfundo uTumelo athi, how can umthoko go back to danger? So yena uTumelo thought ngumnisi. Akazi ukuthi it was Tumelo's testimony. So cabanga ukuthi umnisi udlala ngaye, but yeah, he shot himself lapha in the foot. Ngoba uthi how can you go back to the danger in. So there was a caller, I don't know when. I agree ukuthi babembeka phansi ngoba they were still looking for the driver of the red car. Ngoba bathi baphuma ekitchen. Then mabephuma ekitchen ngoba wayesinda. Then mabebane behleka bephakama. But lapha akuna dining room lapha kunomnyango. I think the dining room is more closer to the entrance than going to the kitchen or ukuthi asiyazi igolf ke ukuthi ayikuphi. But I agree ukuthi vele bathatha isikhathi yomfaka kula X6 ngoba ulongwe wayebalekile nesikhiya semoto. I won't say allegedly ngoba kwaku
No, but there's
Niyaqala.
No, I get it. There was, I think to figure after Sekudliwe, obviously the first car that came back was the X6. So the X6 will be in front, obvious. Then izoza leyo scene. So in order for you to uphume, inye igate kufanele uphume lusemva kwakho.
What if the car was already gone long time ago after those shots and then the car leaves?
But according to them, ulongo kwaleke watona le agiri siyangestory sabo manje.
Was it on foot or walking or driving?
Uthi wabaleka, then he thought ukuthi ifone yakhe ushiyendlini. Jiki hayi phone was in my pocket, but I was looking for help. Then the neighbors were already asleep, but it was late. Ingazibeleli njani ngoba lo ntombazana wayiphaya uma period senze washing. Nganoyenza washing abantu belele. But then uthi wabaleka wayotshona le according to yena egijimini eyofuna usizo akathonga ukuthi ngangena emotweni ngazama ukugijimisa ngiyofuna usizo. Then he realized ukuthi ifone isendlini. Then jiki ifone ibuye leso story. But I agree nalo muntu osithi bebehlala bembeka phansi bengamfanga ngoba bebefuna la moto isuke wabuya vele ulongo but ifinyifini lethu umthoko yena uba exposed nje kuphela. Yena uba exposed ukuthi ihamba njani yonke lento. uZandi nomthoko bebeyirehearse lapha eMalbathi ngalomini yabo wafika kuTumelo yena ukhuluma enye indaba. But ke uTumelo Tumelo ngendlela ethanga khona kwathi engakhona hayi shem iyayiveza ukuthi lo mfana kaThixo lo uthathathi yena imali wayezotsho njalo umuntu ophuma eqala ongenzanga next akenzanga next ulongwe according to them ulongwe waphuma wabaleka manje wayezokwaptela ezothi lo womuntu ongenzanga next ongalwanga.
Let me answer this one. Let me give someone else a chance. Allegedly to everything you said.
Allegedly.
Zanzelo.
Hello, Njani.
Skolo njani?
Siyaphila. Yeah, Mr. Nomase, I hope assignment ihambe kahle izolo. No, Emily siyabonga ukuthi asazise. Besilinde ngabovu izolo. Hey, sabona imessage that ayifisa kusekho njalo.
Siyabonga mfethu.
Kodwa konke kuhambe kahle.
Ihamba kahle mfethu, ihamba kahle.
Ayosiyabona. Yeah, no, nami ngithi nje ngisho yazi ngibona uinterpreter ushiya amaphutha abalekile kakhulu when it comes to interpreting and sending the message either in English or in Zulu. Kunezinto azifihlayo noma zisho ngendlela yena abona ngayo or add the extra weight to make things clear which is unnecessary and not needed because yenze ngathi umthokoziso whoever that is testifying ukhuluma into right kanti no uyamosha. Then another thing ujudge wethu siyabonga yena ukuthi pushing the case yenza ibe fast but another thing I feel like is bias kakhulu when it comes to other situations like what Tumelo did yesterday was uncalled for, and for the fact that the judge let it go for such a long time, it's not right.
Yeah.
But if this can be done by one of the council, hey, that guy is very quick to make fun of them. He made fun of Umnisi, Izolo, and it was not nice. I even felt like, now we are on a one-man comedy show, a stand-up comedy show. It's really sending a wrong message when it comes to how are the proceedings the court. The court is showing kanjani. Because now ngathi sibukela ukukhumba laphayana, akwara a crowd, which is not right. Yeah, so that is one of the things that Judge Tumelo Madlala. He retired on a good note, on a good reputation. So he must continue that. He must go retire. I went to the case Senzo Meyiwa, which was a high-profile case, and I did that case in right, and I still went back to retirement with my good reputation. But when he's continuing to do what he's doing, this case is a nationwide case, and izohlala imphazamisa remains akhuluma abukeke njengomuntu omubi. So yeah, I think if kungaba nalolo shintsho, the case will continue nicely and be more smoother than the way it is. But ububias cela bona bushintshe. And siyabonga kakhulu guys.
Thank you. It wasn't nice when he was making all of them jokes. Be like, you are confused. And then at the end, when Nisi was like, holiday.
Finish up.
Yeah, he was
Finish
like
up.
holiday, and then he was like, today we were continuing with the court proceedings, and then they were like, tomorrow is a holiday, and everybody just started laughing, and he's like, you are confused. Then I'm like, you're gonna repeat to Advocate Mnisi that he's confused how many times? I didn't find it that funny. And then there was a point also where Tumelo was like, izinto zakhe azisebenzi lo, after the cross-examination with Advocate Nisi, because he was pressing on that issue of, you could have made a grave mistake by pointing out at accused number 2, you know? And he was very defensive about it, and he was like, oh, izinto zakhe azisebenzi. He was even laughing. I'm listening to all of that cunt that he's doing there, and I'm like, yo, Tumelo, you are giving us a lot. You are giving yourself away by these little demeanors that you're doing behind the scenes.
Zanzelo.
Hello, Mzanzi, how are you?
Very good. And you?
I'm okay, my brother. I have a question to say, my brother, about the court proceedings.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, man. I started posting on the WhatsApp, YouTube, but I see you guys might have not understood what I was trying to say, like on the chat there. But what I was saying, my brother, was that remember when the Nyashe boy,
Yeah.
He said Togo jumped into their yard, right?
Yes.
And then right there, when they went to see Togo, they spent around a good 2 to 3 minutes with him. Then he jumped back. Then let's try to add the time. And then the Nyashe boy went to the park to look for intruders, which took around 10 more minutes. So basically that's around 13 minutes. So things like Senzo was lying down for at least like 30 minutes, lying down on the floor where he was bleeding, and nobody was paying attention to him. So basically, one simple question is that where is the pool of blood? Because like if you are injured, all right, let's say you go through a trauma whereby you are hit with a very hard object and your body it is jumping in, then your heart is going to beat faster. You are going to bleed faster. Where is the pool of blood in the house?
Where is it?
Where is the pool of blood in the house, and where is the blood in there? When Kelly denied the police access to the car, was she trying to have more time to clean the car? You know, and where is the blood in the car? The pictures in the car, and the robbers, they came looking for cell phones, or else there is an exit outside. Come on, guys, like fix. That sounds very funny to me. Like, why would you want a cell phone that you don't even know what type of a phone is, or maybe what type of phone do they have? There's an exit parked outside. Just say, guys, give me the keys to the exit, and we take the exit to go. Like, Korusha man, guys.
Yeah. No, it's bonga cool. Thank you.
Guys, exactly why were no photos from the car after the incident?
That's why I'm saying that the facade that is being sold, for me, it's not flying. But it's an opinion again. Mzanzelo.
Hello, Njani.
Kono Njani.
Yeah, Mila. Yo, I think I have quite a lot to say about this case. And I think it's also very interesting. Ukubuka documentary Senzo. Now that the case is actually rolling and hearing what the witnesses are saying in comparison to what they're saying in the documentary and other interviews, there's a lot of things that are like difference. But actually, before I start with that, Senzo's documentary actually did get nominated for SACA. So when the lines open, guys, let's vote.
Okay, guys, you heard the message. Vote for the documentary.
But does it benefit the people?
I think it might. The family might be the ones that selected. So that's If it's that, then why not?
Okay.
They did participate in it.
All right. Cool.
So Tumelo, me, I've watched, like the cross examination, and then I just watched the documentary. But Tumelo doesn't mention that he called Mandisa. Mandisa called him while he was at Teddy's house. That was part of the sequence of events before Senzo, passed away. He doesn't mention that in court, but in the documentary he does, and he also Mandisa called because he wanted to know, are they coming to the party or not? Because I guess it was just getting late. He doesn't mention that in court, which is very interesting. So that's one thing that I found interesting. Another thing that I found interesting is that Tumelo says in the documentary that the gun was pointed at him. Yes, he also does say that in court. But the description of the gun is very vague, But what I found interesting is that when I looked at the house, even though it has been reconstructed, but there's enough space that if a gun was pointed at, like he said, was pointed at the front, you need to remember that people are sitting on both sides, and then there were people sitting in the center. So if the gun was pointed frontwards, you're able to see the detail of the gun on either side, which means you're seeing more detail than just the front part of the gun, if that makes sense. So it's very weird that he can't give a description where he was like, So I found that very interesting. And then another thing is that they mentioned that both people had guns. That's one thing I picked up from the documentary. They said guns, So points where, I think it was Kelly, I think she was like, in the documentary, she was like, one of them ran towards her with the gun, and she went inside the room, and they were like pushing and shoving, and, So I found that interesting because that's information that none of them have actually mentioned. And then another thing that I found interesting was that there's a guy that no one actually speaks about that is actually part of the sequence of events when, like, the hospital scene is Umusa. Umusa is one of Senzo's friends, I don't know, whatever. In the documentary, he says that he was called by Kelly, and when he arrived, Senzo was being put on a stretcher. And no one mentions Musa in that particular. Musa is known. It's not like he's like random. He is known, but no one mentions him. And he said he tried to speak with Senzo. And remember, some of the judges were saying, "Did Senzo say anything?" And no, he was quiet. But I found it interesting because Musa said he tried to speak to Senzo, and it was as if he wants to speak, but every time he opened his mouth, blood was coming out, and no one mentions that. It's so weird. And another thing that I also found interesting is that they say Senzo, they found him in the middle of something there in the living room. Yes. But the fight occurred in the kitchen. And when I looked at the distance of the kitchen to the living room, he must have limped or walked somewhere somehow. There must have been spots of blood going from the kitchen, because I don't think the scuffle happened in the living room. It happened in the kitchen, and the shots were, in the kitchen, which means he must have limped there. There must have been blood or something there, So those are just some of the things that I found interesting, and then the amount of shots that were actually fired. It's not clear, because everyone says they ran off the first shot, but then also remember that Dundee said the first shot grazed her. If the first shot grazed her and everyone ran away, at what point was Senzo shot? Because some people only heard one shot,
Yeah.
And also the fact that the phone was found underneath the stove, if you guys remember that. The stove that I saw there, like, it doesn't have an underneath. Like, it's just those very flat ones that there's no underneath there. So I also kind of found that interesting. And Dundee also mentioned in not the documentary, but that interview that he had, I think it was a cozy interview, that they fought both men. He does actually mention that. But during when she was in court, he doesn't say that she fought both men, like how Tumelo is saying that, But he does mention that in an interview, which is also something very interesting. And then Ulong says that he came to the house to just pick up Uzandi. But if you remember the conversation that they had, it sounded like a plan for him to come in, sit down, and have wada. But in an interview, he says, "Oh no, I just came to pick her up." But when I came to pick her up, it was like, "Oh, just stay," But that wasn't the sequence of events. So yeah, those are just some of the things I found very interesting. The documentary gets very interesting when you watch it now again and seeing the trial and the inconsistencies. So, yeah.
Right. Good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you for that
welcome.
review. Because it will be interesting to watch it again now that the testimonies are what they are.
Let's see. Mzansi, hello. Mzansi, hello. Mzansi, hello. Yebo, njani? Sikhona.
Yebo, so ucabanga mina lento yentona abasenza ulungibheka yaqala ngomthatha isikhathi wesimali sesikhathi
Ungathi unganyakaza kancane. Siyakulahlekela. We're losing you. Yeah. Now we can hear you.
So I think yaqala ngomthatha isikhathi Hello.
Yes, we are listening.
So, ukukhona isenzo notheli nezandi kanye nomthekeli. I think it's elongezini what is something is an end. Towards the long time because he is more medicine because remember you cannot put him up IoT. Maybe possibly with the Bama Bayola, the couple Yama Bayola, what happens to also for the other two is under the norm.
Bella
So I think it's I'm a border level getting up. I think it's costing the other because the team. Also, want to is on the women to go to the land. One is going to land. I think it's one long, what you got up on this, why it's a message on the 26th. I have been living but the middle of my kids. Maybe they enjoy what you what you have on the restaurant with you long, I mean, what you say about kids, the market. Maybe you're going to come maybe you're feeling through this, maybe you're going to the eye. This is that. You're going to come out what he is, send the long, maybe you send those, I'm not you one big time, maybe it's going to come shy. Maybe it's shy into the why
No, it's all alleged. That's what is nice about it. Thank you very much.
I think okay. The reason why I can look in people trial, it takes time on that. And that's why it's the first call when you are saying what I see. So they consider similar to others. Maybe give them instructions.
Okay,
right.
Thank you so much for calling. Thank you. Hey, Linda Valia Malbati.
Mzanzelo? Yebo sawubona.
Njani?
Siyaphila unjani?
Mina nginenkinga yemijaji bafethu. Into engiyibuza nje kahle ukuthi le statement lesabhodolo short ngoba bethi asikhomishile kanti bani umuntu responsible for compiling le file le executive izinto balo onke ama-documents afikile njengeni company kanti abanayo ne-criteria ukuthi whatever statement abasubmitayo or makhansela evalala kule department ukuthi sibe kanjani then bayafaka lapho. Are they not checking all those kind of things before they even put it in the file there?
It does nami le mbuzo ngobuza. Yeah.
Okay,
that's the same question I'm asking. Let's see, who is in charge? Who's the author of this case?
The commissioning of the statement.
Yes.
Isn't it the lead investigator?
Why are they making it sound like, okay, it's not commissioned, it's okay. Could have been anyone's mistake.
And the fact that Advocate Mshololo actually used it before too.
Now they are coming with a certain defense. And then you tell me that these courts that we have here, really, they are for what the truth is. I don't know, man. Mzansi, hello. Right. Aren't we supposed to be seeing that, to be wanting what is right for the case, not looking to win?
What is scary about this and watching this whole process?
Zanzi, hello.
Hello, njani?
Sikhona njani?
Siyabonga ma. Sis Emily njani?
Siyaphila njani?
Siyaphila ma. Bengisami ngilalele what we are doing now. True. But I've got my own view about the issue ka Longwe about what waphuma wahamba.
Yeah.
But I think and when some interview Chico uthi weza wabona usenzo aleli phansi. So I was thinking maybe Chico tholakala lethe is the key semoto. Is that I think it could probably be the semoto ulonge kwamanje usalahleile mhlawumbe uhamba uyomfuna after that. But I'm thinking that this is a card or as an assembly that imoto whatever. That's what I'm thinking. And the other thing, when it comes to the issue, intruders job at ingena abantu. Ukuthi nale chaos is because this thing by kuyakha abantu abangena endini. So that's why abantu bakhona bakhiwe ngamabooks and bayawa. That's why ufuna ubambe kancane ilo ube isibhamu mara lo umunye uyabuka ukuthi umsebenzi walwa naye then kuyahlanganisana because into engekho uyabo bonke izitori you don't have to uzihlanganisa izitori zabo noma ngathi uyabuka ngabantu ukuthi uyazikhomba izitori zabo zithathana zizodwa zona zizodwa. So I think ilapho manje kakhulu. Ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga. It is all alleged.
me
Welcome, Lucky Charles Manele. Welcome to membership. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for joining. And I remember that 20 years, even after 20 years, I'll still remember what he looks like. And I'm like, didn't Lorraine also say something about 20 years?
Like there's a lot of common things, like three cans of drinks, and then there's like a duplicate of what they are saying, and those duplicates are not about what they saw, it's about what they are saying, and these general things that you could say in court. There is that duplication of things that you would actually pick now and then. It's like you have a deja vu. You've heard this before while someone else was testifying.
I'm like, even after 20 years, I'll still remember what he looks like. You're so sure. And I heard Lorraine say the same utterances, and I'm like, what is going on? I feel like I've seen this before.
Yeah, it repeats itself. This movie repeats itself. Emily, anything you want to say before?
No, I want to say that this case is very important, and I hope everybody who's seeking the truth in that courtroom realizes that it's important. what's going to come out of it is very important.
It's worldwide case that is all over the world. Everywhere we're getting calls from different countries. People are watching this case. It defines the laws and the constitution of South Africa. What exactly are we facing as a country? What country are we? It defines us.
It's very important, and they shouldn't undermine that. At one point, they need to always keep in mind that the people are watching, and it's important that we get the truth.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay, sir. Sorry to call again. I just needed to say one more thing, my brother. I forgot to say something. Just to ask something, you know. When Ulongwe ran out of the house, like, didn't he run into the other 3 intruders outside? You know?
No.
Like, didn't... Like, exactly that thing right there. And the ladies who were in the car, like, didn't they see the other intruders standing outside of the house? Because they were in the car, sitting, and they could have a clear view of the Tumelo house. And the 3 intruders outside, like, didn't they see them? And Togo again, when he ran out as well, like, didn't he run into those 3 intruders, which were outside this time? And then, how do they even identify them if they were not in the house? They couldn't see them. It was dark outside.
How?
There are a lot of question marks here.
There are.
Yeah, no, thank you, my brother. Thank you very much for
All
to
right,
see
sir.
what you
Thank you,
say. Emily,
Yeah.
I'm told that you need to finish your notes.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I've already given up on it. It was the interpreter that bad, guys. Okay, let me continue where I left off, all right? So if they say Senzo was busy with the suspect, with the gunman, who were they busy with? And Mr. Mnisi was, Mr. Mnisi, what I'm telling you is the truth. Okay, this is the part where Tumelo was kind of arguing the fact that his side of the story is more truer than the side of Zandi and Togo, because he's saying, keeps insisting that Senzo had an altercation with the first intruder. So Mnisi then asked, rest assured, Mr. Madlala, I'm not saying that you are being dishonest with this court, right? Which is why we are here trying to probe, right? Now, another challenge that I also had with... Okay, guys, now you're throwing me off guard. I had given up on these notes.
Yeah.
But I will cover them for you guys. So, Mnisi then asked Mr. Mr. Madlala, you just took us from a frying pan into the fire. We are further confused. Now, this is after he tried to explain what was happening with the white T-shirt. He said that because Kaya Ngache's statement says that there was a guy he saw with a white T-shirt who was behind the window, or whose back was against the window, then how come he saw that? So it means that it supports more his theory of the fact that Senzo was in an altercation with somebody by the window close to the door. And then more confusion. Mr. Mdisi was like, now you just took us from to a frying pan, from a boiling pot to a frying pan. And I was also confused because now I'm like, I can't think. What is happening? And now Tumelo says, so that explains that we were there with the person by the window and by the door. It's true. That's why Kaya saw it. Mr. Mnisi said, Mr. Madlala, you just took us from a frying pan into the fire. We are further confused. Baloyi stood to object that the witness is giving an explanation of how it can be said that it is confusing. If my learned friend has an issue with it, he can raise it in argument.
Welcome, Noktula Mari. New member. Thank you very much, guys.
Mr. Kaya Mnisi said, Tumelo Madlala said, I am sorry, sir. Then the judge said, someone is confused because Mr. Mnisi referred to Tumelo as Mr. Kaya. That was very confusing. Everybody was confused. So there is a reason why we are asking you to unconfuse us. Is it you telling the truth, or they could have been mistaken about what they saw? Mistakes do happen in the process of observation. And Madlala said, Mr. Mnisi, if I ask, well, I once heard about Kaya's statement that he saw the person through the window with a white t-shirt. How was he going to see that person if they were not close to the door? Remember, I said the first intruder was behind me. How did he see what was Senzo doing by the window? What was Senzo doing by the window? Because Kaya said he saw a person with a white t-shirt by the window. Is that not so?
So now he's accepting now what Kaya said. So should we take that as the truth of what Kaya said?
But he does have a point, though.
No, he does. I'm not against that. I did believe what Kaya was saying most of the time. I did. In most of it, I did believe it. But there was this debunking of most of the things that Kaya said by these people. So now when it suits his narrative of what was happening there, the white t-shirt and what Kaya saw, in fact, it was clear when it was put to Zandi that he was actually refuting all those allegations that Ngashes could see the other side.
In fact, she said the window is not facing each other. She doesn't understand how Kaya could have seen anything.
Here comes Longwe, who there wasn't even an issue of a height. How tall is that thing? How long is the wall? And all those things. And now this man is coming here to support his narrative now.
Now, Mnisi said, would you agree with me that what you have said and what Mthokozisi and Zandi have said are not the same, they are different? And Tumelo said, there are statements I have never read. Everything I'm hearing about it in court, so I have never read them. Everyone here has made their statements. And Mnisi said that which they told this court and that which you have told this court is not the same. And Tumelo said, it is not my job to see that. I think, Mr. Mnisi, your job is to ask me about what pertains to me. What we got from other people, I won't be able to explain.
Look, unless
I
these
will
people
explain what was explained by me.
Unless these people, someone is telling them, it feels like someone is saying, never speak on I mean, a normal person like me, if I was to go and testify, I would say whatever that I did to say. Even if I had to say what you said, Emily, I would say it, because I mean, if you come and affirm it eventually,
especially the ones from the house, all of them have the same similar pattern of just saying, I will not be testifying on what another person said.
Eventually, but after speaking on what other people are saying, when you are trying to collaborate your story, and then when it suits you, you refrain. I'm not going to say anything.
Nisi said, would it not have been an error of a mistaken identity on your part that the person you saw being in a tussle with Senzo, where you came to assist with suspect number 2? And Baloy said, I've never made a mistake. Okay, that's not Baloy, actually it's Tumelo. I will never make a mistake. I've never made a mistake with this man. Just like I'm saying, I'm talking about something I have seen. I will never provoke or mistaken. Ukusugela anybody for nothing. Never. And Nisi said, I'm putting it to you that you had made a terrible mistake in your identification of the person who Senzo was in the tussle with, and as and when the firearm went off. And Baloy said, Mr. Ramosepele is representing accused number 2. I don't know on what basis is counsel making that submission. Has he got instructions to that effect? Now I found a problem with this. I was like, Baloy, what's going on? What is going on with Advocate Baloy? Can someone explain to me? Because I don't understand why he cannot speak for an accused who pointed out their person that they are representing. They're trying to argue, right? Why are you blocking it from happening? So you're saying it's Ramosepele's duty to only speak on behalf of accused one. What are you saying? What is going on in this court? Then Mnisi said it is immaterial whether I'm here on behalf of accused number 3 or on behalf of accused number 4 or accused number 5, but the circumstances where I realize not only me but my colleagues here at large that there is an aspect that needs to be brought to the attention of the court which ultimately is going to assist the court to come to a just and equitable ending. I will be doing a very grave injustice, my lord, to keep that under my armpit. And I agree. I mean, why should you only be limited to speak on issues pertaining only to your client when you don't even know whether your clients are placed there on the scene or not? Like, a lot is happening with this case. So to just limit lawyers to the people that they are representing when they can counter-argue using what has been pointed out in the court with regards to accused 1 and 2.
If one goes, they are all going down.
They are all going down. So why must he be limited? But I'm glad the judge here decided to say, okay, I hear you, and allow Advocate Mnisi to continue. And Mnisi said, because at another level, my lord, my integrity as an officer of this court will be called to question, which is true. And I don't want that thing to happen to me now. Exactly, after so many years of being a defense attorney and something like this happens to you now, when now a state advocate only limits you to argue for your client. Then he said, thank you, my lord. And Madlala said, let's fix this thing of you saying I made a mistake. Tumelo now was able to continue with his testimony, and he says, I didn't make a mistake by pointing this one. I am telling you now, I will even point at them after 20 years. I didn't make a mistake, I made justice. Look at him talking about justice when he didn't even see who shot his friend, allegedly. So, and also Lorraine, guys, made the same utterances about this 20 years thing that I found very, very weird. Then Tumelo said, your things are not working, laughing behind the scenes. Don't worry, Mr. Mnisi, we have all the time in court. That is what you said. And Mnisi said, finally, in as much as you strongly believe that it could have been second suspect that you saw on that day, your belief might have been or made you to do a grave honor of mistaken identity. Tumelo said, what you see in me is that it is very nice to talk of someone you know, unlike someone who speaks of something they don't know. That is why I have so much enthusiasm. And Mnisi decided to conclude his cross-examination. Advocate Nxumalo said that he would take longer because the judge actually asked 2 questions. Do you have a few questions? And he said, no, I'll be long. So hopefully he can stretch it for the whole day. Let's see what happens. Nxumalo, right now is a holiday. I'm sure you can stretch those questions to be like a good 10 pages. Stretch them when I'm over. Stretch them like at least Zibe, yabo, at least a good 10 pages. I want to see an exhausted Tumelo and how he will respond. And Ungawar, don't be afraid. Come down, smile at him. If he starts getting aggro, smile. I know you're not much of a smiler. But don't let him get to you. Don't let him get to that point where you are now arguing with him. I'm sure that's what he wants and that's what he's betting on. Disappoint him with kindness.
Yeah, that's the thing. Many people are like, no, these lawyers are not good because they are asking. You know, people on the comment, if they ask for long, if they stay for long, they it's like people are there to just listen to what is happening. You see them, there's no need for these questions. We want those questions. Yeah. It's a psychology game now. It's a
him relax. Make him up. You see what happened. Now he just told us about Senzo Meyiwa's sister who made Kelly Kumalo stay with her for 7 days. Stuff like that, you know. He's good at volunteering information with regards to people that you can tell he has issues with, allegedly. So if you massage him correctly, who knows, we may end up finding out who pulled the trigger.
Exactly. That's all we are looking for. And guys, if you don't call me, it's done. I need to go watch the highlights of Kaizer Chiefs.
Oh, Kaizer
How
Chiefs,
they lost. It has been nice. It was nice to be here during the day. So I'm gonna get
an early
proper
sleep.
rest.
An early night today. Yeah.
Yes, let's not forget to like the video. We have 530 people. Thank you very much for being here. And like the video, guys. Like
And
the
thank
video.
you guys for
like
allowing
the
me to
video.
finish
like
my
the
notes.
Video, like the video. Like the video. Like it.
Thank you for requesting that I finish my notes. I work very hard for these notes. Considering the interpreter we have, it's not easy. It's not easy because I have to listen to what Tumelo is saying. I don't take what the interpreter is saying because I realized a long time ago, I listen to Tumelo and I translate what he's saying. So guys, thank you so much. Thank you for giving me that opportunity.
That opportunity of finishing your notes.
Yes.
We gave you. We
I
gave
work
you
very
that
hard.
opportunity.
I work very hard on these notes.
We gave you that opportunity. Who are we, Mzansi? We did.
Yes. Hello?
Yes, how are you?
Hey, how you doing, Mr. Anonymous?
We're good, man.
How you doing, Emily?
Hi.
Thanks for calling me back.
Yes.
How are you?
All is
All
good?
right. Yeah. All right. No, I just had two things.
Yeah.
One, so I just had a little suspicion overall about the case, because I used to think that from when the advocate Ramosepele said that Kelly pulled the trigger, I used to believe it. But I thought to myself, perhaps maybe Longway pulled the trigger, because if he runs out of the house, he's the first one to run out. He doesn't call the police. There's no report of anyone calling the police or ambulance or anything like that. My thing is that he went out to hide the gun with the wheel, and that's why he came back, or he's arguable to come back or not, because I see him pulling the trigger because he wasn't invited and just showed up, and a bit of animosity there, and then something happens between him and his girlfriend. Senzo jumps in, he brandishes his weapon, some old gun, probably once belonged to his dad. A revolver is an old weapon. And then he shoots Senzo. He runs out of the house. He hides the revolver. And I could have sworn, I could be wrong, but I thought that Ramosepele said that there was I could be wrong, that they pinged his phone and they found him, his phone location was somewhere at a gas station or something like that. I don't know. It's just pretty odd to me. But, and anyway, the other thing is the way this case is going. There's a similar trial in the U.S. that was happening where the state couldn't make what do you call that, without suspicion or whatever, like in case. It's just a serious. I'm sorry, my alarm was going on. The way it's going right now, the state is going to see these people walk, and they don't want that. So what I'm seeing in my mind is what they're going to do is, like when many cases happen, is kind of odd. They may ask for a mistrial. Therefore, the 5 won't get off. The case will have to, just like this one, except it won't be de novo necessarily. It will be a mistrial, meaning they have the opportunity to retry the 5 with a better, I don't know, case or whatever, because they have to prove it, right, without a shadow of a doubt or something like that, right? So if they do that, which is, it's usually the opposite side. It's usually the defense who's trying to do that if they, they can't make a case and try to opt for a plea or something like that, a deal. But the way I see it, the state is so weak. There's so much things pointing everywhere. At the end of it all, they're just not going to pick these 5 people. And whether or not Kelly and anybody else testifies, I think that they may, the way Beloy is playing it, he may have to do a mistrial, and the whole thing will start over, because that's the fashion of restarts and postponements and things like that. There's no way they're gonna let these people walk.
Yeah,
it's too serious, and that's the way I see it.
Yeah.
I thought about that because the 5 could win, but they're not going to allow a win. So before this thing is over, they're going to. That's just my opinion, so because that's a common thing that happens. And bring something serious against an accused, but they don't have a strong enough case. Yeah.
Okay. No, thank you very much.
Yeah, that's some valid points that you're raising there, and I'm thinking.
Thank you.
They're not gonna let them walk.
Right?
No.
So, one person, then I'm off. This one is for Kaizer Chiefs. This one is for Kaizer Chiefs. I'm gonna take one extra or two, just because Kaizer Chiefs lost. Why not?
Batung.
Let me do it.
Mazong.
Hello, Mzansi. Hello.
emzansi ninjani
zikhona bethu njani
kuhle khwele esehlika
yebo khona esehlika awushaye nje khona uzoshiyela omunye ngibona ukuthi uyakwazi ukusheshisa
okay no ngibawona ukhe ngiqonde la ne masithi ku-case kaKheli ne uKheli mos i-state asifuna umbiza kuba engazibala uncedo ku-evidence yakhe
yebo
ne-defense nayo ayimbizi uKheli
yebo
let's say for argument's sake these guys babanjweyo ngoku right now baphela begwetshwa ne and then ithini into kaKheli izawuthini into kaKheli yena njengomuntu kaloku naye befonelana nabantu bonke abantu babanjwe pha balivumile ityala kulaa nto into babe bebethwa abanye babo
awu khwelezedlika wasunyamalala manje
hayi ndikhona mna qha ndiyabuza ukuthi it look like some of the guys must ne babethiwe ngamapolisa and then they end up saying bayayazi lento
yes
now what I want to know bonke ngaba kwenzeke ngolo hlobo ubanjwa kwabo
la ile 2 lesazi ngayo ile 2 le 1 and 2
laba abanye bebegwetshiwe
abanye
bebegwetshiwe
bevele bebanjiwe abanye ngaphambili kudala bebanjele ezinye izinto
yes I know bebanjiwe sensho kaloku baqhatshazelwa njani lelityala
ngathi phela khona wakhombayo omunye wakhomba omunye angithi yabona umuntu ushaya kakhulu induku usuyisuthi nawe ugcina nawe so remember ukuthi hey konje kunosibani usho ukuthi uyeke uye lo impilo
no ndiyakuva no master i-concern yami otherwise inje phansi kwento yokuba lento ngaba uKheli akazubizwa akho ne-defense mhlamba ifuna umbiza nobhalo yakafuna umbiza ungoba uzawuthi thini yena uzawuyekwa ngolahlobo kuphansi kwento yefoni
ukuthi ke uyazi ukuthi ngitheni mina makuyimbiza kwi-defense yabo ngibona ngathi kubazobe beyigxoba ngelokhuzana ngaphambili uyabona ukuthi uyigxoba ngetshe ngaphambili ngoba vele usenindekile ngendlela ezithize zeinamba mama umbize efike lapha egwazinja kuvele kubhede yonke into
manimamele radioini okanye manimamele efonini angikuva kahle ndiyakhahla
okay right okay so just silinde so basically okay everyone is calling Mzansi hello
ninja
sikhona
sikhona senzela ukuphawula na
yebo mfowethu Paula
no mina kwami kuleli cala kaMeyo mfethu ukubuya ungazothi at one stage labantu bake baba ndawonye kwabhala istatement bendawonye kanti kuzothi maqhubeka isikhathi ibhale istatement bendawonye bahlukanisa ithamselehlukanisa bese manje uthola amaphutha lokuthi sebeyaphambana ngembono akasakhumbula ukuthi omunye kusizile lelicala that don't are longer, it is an advantage.
Yeah.
Sizakubuka as a disadvantage. Bekumele don't longer kanje kuthi justice yenze. So and the council yenza noma the tambembu esa interrogator ulokuza yena khona la ayifuna ukusho khona ukuthi kwase kuyaxatshwa noma nomzimba.
Ngikhumbula nami leyo nto le lapho ngathi uyayisondela khona ekukhulumeni kamnandi.
Umzimba lona ingoba bona bafuna phela egcine ile ifana njengecommission abamosebenzela odmushwala.
Yeah.
Nakuzoluza shouldn't say the commission. Egcineni sekufika up to the stage lo befana kukhipha la ilaba ezoqala khona kodwa nje all in all ama witnesses ama witnesses usafike court ukuthi identify i-suspect ngendlela right wonke ahlule ukuthi nje nama-sense from the start kodwa kurathi kuyabonakala ukuthi somewhere sebehlangene sibeyabona sesayibesofreshe kanje before egcineni sikomsholozo. So but at the end of the day egcineni kufanele lenze kufanele laba baphethe not guilty laba bakhona bese kuthi laba abalapha kube ne-warrant of arrest beze ngala lizoqala icala kubona ukuze bagwethe ilo nje.
Yebo.
Kuyabona somewhere it was cooked somewhere but now it's iqala ukuhlakazela and once bangena ngaphakathi bofika iclinic. Yabo. Ngiyalandela kakhulu ngiyaxolisa ukuthi bengisabuka i-chips bashaye.
Siyabonga mfowethu idliwe impela i-chips nami impela ngibonile ngufakazi.
Okay,
right. I will feel bad if if I could actually finish this live and not answer. There's a person who's been persistently calling here, and I'm waiting for that person. Maybe once that person calls, and then I'm going out. I cannot. Let me answer. I think that's the person. Mzansi, hello.
Hi, family.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Just a quick one. This is just another view that we can maybe try and approach it. I think there were actually two people in the house, which was Longwe and someone that he came with. Because if you think about how we normally roll as guys in the night, we always travel in twos. So I think Longa came with someone, and that person stood outside just next to the door while Longa went into the house for whatever reasons, whether for Zambia or something. So that's part of the narrative that there were two intruders. I think it has been changed a little bit. There were two guys, it was Longa and somebody else. So the person that they actually identifying as a shooter, they've swapped the two roles. It was Longwe, but they're now saying it's the other guy that came second. If you think about how Kelly moved from the house, from the kitchen, straight to the bedroom when she was running away, it doesn't really make sense. You can't pass your child and go to the room and lock yourself in the room. And when Tumelo and this guy was sitting down, it is quite true what they're saying, that they thought it was a joke, because if somebody comes into the house and everybody knows that person, then all of a sudden they pull a gun, you're going to think it's a joke. Then a second person that he was with in the car that was outside, basically, so the second guy was there. And if we find Longwe's phone, and they look at all the calls that were received or people that he was likely communicating with during the day, they could basically find that second person. But all in all, I think Mshololo has to basically drill some questions in regarding the second guy and the incident that happened when Chico went to Kelly's house after the incident to discuss the case. I think that is where the key is.
Yeah,
but the second guy definitely was there, according to me. second guy came with Longwe, and they are trying to describe somebody that was there. All the features that they are giving is basically from the second guy that came with Longwe.
Hi,
so this is just my thoughts on it, but it's an interesting case. I think the lawyer did very well yesterday.
Yeah.
Both lawyers. I think we are getting somewhere. We just need to let it play itself. And the judge, Shane, I think the judge is very intelligent. He's allowing all the witnesses to actually go all out. But in so doing, there's a critical element. All the stories need to collaborate. And so far, none has done that.
Yeah. No, we hear you. We hear
Yes.
you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me answer this one. Zanzi, hello.
Hello.
Hey, sir, how are you?
Yes, I'm okay, guys. Please don't block me. I'm calling a lot today. And guys, can you please knock off at 6, guys, please? These other people also they wanna call.
Yeah. That's an extra shift.
But
it's 15 minutes already. I guess we can try.
Okay.
All right, guys. Let me shoot one last question. All right. Remember Chico Twala had longer Twala. He had him arrested for stealing his gun. What type of gun was it?
I need to look into that.
I remember a story like that, but it just faded.
It just went away.
It went away.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's on record. That's police record. He was arrested. The type of gun was listed. So basically, they should just retrieve that type of data and actually see. You'll be surprised to find out it was a revolver.
Yeah, asibambe lapho. Let's say allegedly.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Okay.
That belongs to Chico Twala.
Yeah. All right.
That's why Chico had longer arrested, because he stole his gun and went and shot with it and ran home to the gun very quickly.
Allegedly.
That's why he disappeared. Allegedly.
Yeah. I think allegedly is
allegedly
because we can't. I can't find it, but yeah.
And then we don't have that proof of what happened with that issue of someone being arrested. And look, nice story, and maybe on one day we will be able to sit down and say, yeah, you guys, I told you.
But that story went away so fast.
Yeah, that's my worry. It just disappeared. It just disappeared. It never gained momentum.
It's like it never happened, and I feel like I'm dreaming, or did it happen, or it was a long time ago.
Yeah, they just leave it at that.
So it's alleged, guys.
It's alleged. It's an allegation, and the problem is that you know why we're skeptical about going deep to those things, that it's sort of, you know, it doesn't feel comfortable.
No, it doesn't. We have to be honest. It doesn't feel comfortable. This case has a lot of rabbit hole.
Yeah.
A lot of layers.
So because we were asked then to...
It's like peeling an onion.
Yeah, so guys, whatever you say, remember that we still have to live.
And we must protect the platform as well. So we can't just throw in accusations
hello.
without backing them up.
Mzazi, hello.
Allegedly.
Oh, don't...
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yes, how are you?
I'm good, and yourself, Emily?
Yes, we
how
are.
How are you,
Anonymous?
We good.
Yeah.
We are not ashamed to use allegedly. We will.
Yeah. I think the story of the missing gun Chico is denying it now. He said he has never lost his gun.
Exactly.
So
that's what I'm saying.
It's like it has never existed. Yes.
That's why I'm feeling skeptical. You know, once change such things, and then all of a sudden you go there only to find the documents are saying something else.
Something else. You know, this is Mzansi. You know.
Yeah.
If there can be someone who can be brave enough to bring those records, you know.
Yeah.
If they're there.
Yeah, Nina, what I'm thinking about what has happened here, it's only one shot that happened, and it was fired by Longwe. And after Longwe fired that shot, that's when he ran out. He didn't run out before the shot. Remember, Tabisen said there was that shot, and then after the shot, he saw someone running. So I'm thinking that. And to contradict what Tumelo is saying, he agrees that there was someone next to the window. But what he is missing is that that person whom they say he was at that window by the door was facing inside the house. That was Senzo who was facing inside. And that person whom he was probably fighting with was facing outside. Or maybe they were facing each other. So that's what I'm thinking, that that's the time when maybe that gunshot went, you know, and then Longwe ran away. So the story of two people who came running on the street, that one is cooked. That's what I'm thinking. They cooked that one to say there were two people running out, but the only person who ran out, it was Longwe after shooting Senzo. That is why in his statement he says he was shot in front of us. Because he's the one who shot Senzo. So that's what I was thinking.
Yes.
Allegedly.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Allegedly.
Right, guys. I don't think I'll make it to. Thank you so much, Emilien, Mr. Elmas. Thank you, Seth. Okay, you are talking to your people. You guys are sheraling here.
All you need is love.
All you need is love. Thank you, Florence. Welcome to our membership. Forgot to shout you out. Thank you.
Thank
very
you,
much.
Florence. Thank you.
This is motivating us to work behind the scenes.
Yeah. And finally do the stuff we always wanted to do.
Behind the scenes. Yeah, guys, it was nice talking here. Everything said here is alleged, and the opinions are of the people that are calling, not our channel, but still they are alleged. Assumption, public opinion. We are just discussing what we could normally discuss behind the doors.
On a dinner table.
Yeah, that's it. From me, thank you. And then Kaizer Chiefs, hardy.
Better luck next time.
Masanda wana shy. I'm afraid to tenga yonkinta. They buy everything they shy.
Allegedly.
Yeah, it's alleged. It's not alleged that Chiefs lost though.
But tenga
yonkinta. Sanda wana. Yo, they buy everything. They could hear that Mr. Anonymous is doing things here in Senzo's case. They're like, we want to buy that one. Emil is doing things that we want to buy that one. Bring. Bye, guys. Thank you.